Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, especially since it's on a different day. As those of you who follow me on Instagram know, I was just in DC and I had quite an adventure there. So I had a lot of fun and I wasn't able to get on yesterday at the normal time because I was in the air. If you're a regular, you also know to please drop your city and state so I can shout you out. I see people are already here. It always shocks me and blesses my little heart. People are on time. I appreciate that so much. So go ahead and drop your city and state. I can shout you out. Tonight's broadcast is going to be a little bit shorter. Hey, we got Bella in the house. And by the way, guys, I've got my laptop here today, so I don't have to squint like this every time. So I'm going to have my laptop here so that I can watch. Make sure you guys smash that like button, please, so that YouTube will know that this is the type of content that we want to see, or you guys want to see, rather. Okay, let's see. Let's get into it. If you don't know, if this is your first time watching, you might not know my mission. You might not know why I do what I do. But the purpose of my show is to bridge the communication gap between men and women. I feel like we want essentially the same things, but sometimes we go about it in different ways. And so a lot of times it's through having conversations that we can feel either a sense of normalcy or learn something from other people. So, oh, she said, I miss you. Wait, is this my Bella? Bella? Okay, Bella Monet. Let me know if you were Bella from the group, because if it is, hey girl. Good to see you. Good to see you. And by the way, super excited to see everybody who got their shirts, who ordered. If you did order, oh, she said yes. All right, so my apparently did not put my do not disturb my computer, you guys. Hold on one second. This is what happens when your computer can accept phone calls. Let me actually let my buddy know that I'm on live if he wants to join in. So this is what happens, y'all. Never know what happens if you are live streaming. Okay. All right. So just set that information. And I can't even remember how to go ahead and put it on Do Not Disturb, you guys. I'm new to Apple. So hopefully it just doesn't ring a lot, because I'm not going to try to fiddle with it while I'm on here at the moment. But getting back to what I was saying, I really appreciate those of you who sent me photos and let me know that you got your merchandise. So really excited about that. I've got some friends who are in the green room. Once they come on camera, I will bring them on. And last but not least, if you guys have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Really excited that I smashed my goal a while back for the YouTube partnership program of 1,000 subscribers. You guys have been showing so much love. I appreciate that. And if you've been really following, you know I am down to just 150 watch hours. So the second part of the requirements, I am really close to being there. If you guys would like to show some support, if you want to be some diehards, you can go to patreon.com and become a patron. But I'm going to get to our green room and let's see who's in there. All right, guys, you know I got to fiddle with this. Make sure I'm all set up. Remember, if you want to intern, and help me out with the behind the scenes, feel free. All right, let's see. We got one person in here. Let's see if they're going to be coming on camera. And we've got my screen. Always wonky. Y'all know the drill. By the way, if you're just tuning in, I see some of you just joined in. Go ahead and drop your city and state while I get this squared away over here. One of these days, I'm going to have my whole team and we'll just cut to and then have everything amazing. But for now, I'll be grateful. At least we have the technology. All right, here we go. All right, so we've got my buddy over here. I don't know if he's going to be joining in on camera. You're on screen with just your name. So if you want to promote anything, feel free to put that in your description. Otherwise, we could just chat. But we got a lot of topics to talk about today. Somebody was commenting like, whenever I tune in, it's not the same topic as advertised. But that's because we go for hours and hours and hours. You can't talk for 5 hours on the same topic. But tonight we're going to be actually jumping around quite a few things. I wanted to ask those of you who are watching, though, if you have seen, oh, we got Long Beach in the house. Nice. Did you guys see that video that went viral of the girls who tried to dine and dash? They tried to dine and dash and forgot their keys. Somebody commented, world's dumbest criminals, which that really stinks. Yeah, that's super awkward. You got to think that through, because that's a little bit awkward. You're trying to stiff the what do you call it? Stiff them on the check, and then you got to come back. So that could be super super awkward. Anyway, comment in the comments if you guys have seen that. Not sure why my friend is not coming on yet. Talk to me in the comments, sir. If you can hear me, you might be having a little bit of technical difficulties. All right, so here's the question. She said, no way, where can I watch? Which one? Because the comments come in late, so I'm sorry. So let me know, Bella, which one you're referring to as far as watching. Oh, are you talking about the viral video? Duh. I saw it in a private group, but it was shared from the actual Facebook page, I think, of the guy who recorded it. So if you really, really can't find it, DM me or send me an email. I'll try to see if I can go back and find that email. But just put Dine and Dash lost their phone, and it'll probably come up. It was awkward, and I heard a couple people referencing that, so I definitely know that went viral. All right, so I want to have this conversation because somebody posted a question asking about, would you want a second house? Would you want a second house for your spouse? And a lot of people were saying no, they definitely wouldn't want to. By the way, I have some people coming on, but I threw them a curveball with this day and time, so we'll see when they can get on. But for now, we'll just chat in the comments. But let me know in the comments if you would want to live in a separate house. Not live, but would you want a separate house for you and your spouse? And the reason why is they were saying for some times where you just need your space. Now, I feel that this could be a recipe for disaster. I do see where the cons would be. I think that if you used it too much, I think that if you used it in place of dealing with stuff, but I think that if you used it when it wasn't necessarily for trying to necessarily get away from the person, but more so just needing your alone time, I think that might be helpful. I think that when you live together, it's very unnatural. I'm not saying unnatural like I wouldn't want to live with someone or it's wrong, but I'm just saying it's unnatural in the sense that it's different from what you've done your whole life. You've lived independently. You haven't had to think of a partner and things like that. So having a person that you are living with and making all your decisions with, it can be a lot. And so I think that sometimes people can lose their sense of who they are. I think that there could be sometimes a lot of codependency if the relationship isn't exactly helpful or healthy. So I think that there could be possible benefits to having that, where you just say, hey, I'm going to go for the weekend, or I'm going to go work on my book, or whatever the thing is that they're doing. But I definitely can see how it can get abused. So that's up for debate. So let me know, is that something that you want? Akira says no. Bella says yes. Now, if you're saying no or you're saying yes, let me know the reasons for it, because I definitely think that there are pros and cons. And so I would be interested to hear what they are for both. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, because this is bugging me. I'm going to go ahead and fix this camera right here, or this angle, because I don't know if he's having tech issues. So let me just go ahead and do this really quick. You guys are always so patient with me. And by the way, if you guys have not followed me on Instagram, go ahead, and also on Facebook as Chasing Yonci. Go ahead and follow me there, because a lot of updates come there. If you are not subscribed here, you might not have known that I changed the day or why. So it helps if you follow me there, and I can keep in touch with you guys. All right, so I feel a lot better. We'll see if he's able to come back, if he's able to come on in just a second. All right, so let me know your reason. All right, so Akira says, get away for a day, sure. Having a whole other house, no. So like I said, the pros would be sometimes just needing that space. I think that sometimes, like especially with women, I don't see it as much as with men, because I think men tend to really get fulfillment with their careers. But I think a lot of times women lose themselves in who they are in the relationship, or who they are as a mother, you know, as a parent, things like that. So I think the most that you can do to not protect your own identity, but to keep it, what's the word I'm looking for? Keep having one. Keep having your own sense of identity is what I'm trying to say. I think that it's most helpful when you are who you are and you don't just become the other person's other half. That's not to say that you can't work with them, you can't be a good partner with that person, But I think that it's important to not lose sight of that, because that's what we were attracted to begin with. We were attracted to the other person because of their individuality and who they were as a person. So I think that's super, super necessary. Oh, I love having these comments right here because it's so much easier to see than having to squint, because my camera is so far away, or my screen rather. All right, so here's the next topic of discussion that I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on. What is your position on being awakened from a deep sleep for intercourse? Somebody else posted this in another group, and the comments went crazy. You had people who were on the one end, like, wake me up, I am always, always down. You have the other side who's like, man, you better let me sleep. And so it's interesting. I feel like I could kind of be swayed on both sides. So jump in these comments so I can see your thoughts. I told you guys we're going to be heavy in the comments today because my friends are running a little bit behind right now. So let me know your thoughts on this. Would you want to be awakened? So being awakened is a yes. Not being woken up is a no. And then let me know your why. I think sometimes that people can forget that your partner is a person, and that person might have had a long day. I'm a big advocate for sleep. I really have researched it. There's REM sleep, light sleep, deep sleep, and all those different cycles of sleep, those different phases of sleep have different levels of importance. They have a different impact on your body. So some affect your body, some restore your memories, your mind. Like, it's literally a rebooting process during your sleep. So for me, I don't like my sleep played with, but if you are in that, rare blue chance going to do it, you better make it worth me waking up, is all I'm trying to say. Otherwise, morning intimacy is such a beautiful thing because you're rested, you're refreshed, you have all the energy of the day. And I think you could wait. I think you can wait, unless it's just this super, super passionate situation where you just couldn't help yourself. But I'm interested to see what the comments say. By the way, if you're just tuning in, please hit the like button if you are enjoying this. Of course, I won't twist your arm if you're not. But go ahead and hit that like button so that YouTube can see this is the type of content that more people should see, and it will push it out on its own and let people know that this is what they should. Thank you. I see the likes coming in. But let me know. So yes, wake me up. I am ready to go at all times, sleep or not. Or no, stay on your side of the bed, sir or ma'am. I am not going to be happy getting woken up. Chavez says, do not disturb. Okay, Anthony says, why? Because it's sexy. Partners are forever. Work is temporary. I can sleep the next day. See, I mean, you can see, but Anthony, what if this is like on a regular occurrence? What if this is, you are burnt out, you are so tired, you have an early day, and she keeps waking you up while you're sleeping? And maybe you have it regularly, okay? I don't know. I'm throwing out, different circumstances and situations. Akira says, I'm good with it, being woken up. It's not like it's going to be every time, but it definitely better be worth it. Here. Don't wake me up for a snooze fest, because I was already sleeping. So we got 3 comments. Let's see what else you guys have to say. Which one are you weighing in on? Which one are you on as far as which side of the fence? But I think that people should always be considerate of their partner, and that's probably one of the #1 reasons why people who have bad sex, because they either are a selfish partner or their partner is a selfish person. I think that if you consult with your person, find out what they want, find out what they don't want, it's really important to know. There's a book that I pushed to the point where people probably think I'm getting, sponsorship money from it. But it's called Don't You Dare Get Married Until You've Read This Book. And it's just 500 questions. And there were so many questions that were in there that I thought were really good questions that I might not have thought to ask a potential partner. Things like, do you like talking dirty? Do you like morning sex? Do you like night sex? So these are the types of things that we should add to the question. Like, hey, do you want to be awakened? I remember this one guy that I used to date, and we were talking about sleep, and he said, I do not like being awakened. Just like, period. Like, don't cuddle, don't talk. He's like, even when I first wake up, I don't want anyone to talk to me. I need to have my coffee. Give me a full hour to wake up. Versus me, the minute my eyes open, I'm like, woohoo, good morning, world. Like, I wake up on 10. But I go to sleep like I'm powering down. Nothing else is happening. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Turn the lights off. Let it be pitch black. So you really have to know your person. And a lot of times, you know, we have these conversations about what's good and what's bad, what's right and what's wrong. And a lot of times it's not. It's not about that. It's about the person that you're with. And so what works with you. Derwin said 5 minutes ain't gonna kill anybody. Ooh, child, if somebody woke me for 5 minutes, that's what should we discuss beforehand. And Kara says, exactly. And that's the other thing. What if they wake you up? It's only 5 minutes, and now it takes you longer to go back to sleep than it did for your whole little activity to happen. I don't know what's up with that. All right, guys, we got some more people joining in. Please hit that like button if you're enjoying this content. If you're just casually swinging by, I don't know what to tell you. Yay, we got my girl in here. We got to catch her up. Let's see who is in the green room, y'all. Let me get this thing together. Y'all know my pet peeve with my screen being all wonky. All right, let's check this out. We got Jen, who looks like she's trying to come on. And let me adjust. Oh, we got Jen and Monica. You guys know my peeps, some of my favorites, the OGs. Hey, ladies, let me bring you on camera real quick. Kenneth has been trying to join for like the last 20 minutes, and I don't know if he thinks he's watching the show or if he realizes he's on his show. He's on the show, but yeah, his screen just is going like that. Let me adjust it really quick so I can. I don't know why it's showing off the off-camera folks. Give me 1 second, you guys. Thank you for being patient in the background. Display. Oh, there we go. I had accidentally turned off that feature that hides folks that aren't on camera. Okay. Let's get back to it. There we go. All right. We got everybody back now. Hey, ladies. Thank you so much for joining. Hey. So we have had, we've been discussing in the comments. The people in the comments have been holding us down today. So you guys got on here. But right now we were talking about wake me or let me sleep. So if you in that deep REM sleep, you want Bae to come poking around, if you know what I mean, or you want him to let you be and catch you in the morning?
He should wake me up.
Ooh, yes, child.
You should wake me up.
We were saying, if you do wake me up, it better be worth it. And then they said, 5 minutes, that 5 minutes ain't gonna kill nobody. I said, you better not wake me up for no 5 minutes.
I'm pretty sure if somebody's waking someone up, it's not for 5 minutes. Right.
Monica, are you team wake me? Okay, there she go. Wake me properly. Don't wake me up talking about babe. No, wake me the right way.
No, there's the right way. There's the right way to wake. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. All the new people coming in, welcome. Please let me know what city and state you are watching from so I could shout you out. Also, please smash that like button. It takes 2 seconds, but it makes all the difference in the world. It's like tipping your server, so please go ahead and spend those YouTube coins really, really quickly. Akira says, 5 minutes, they're going to have to do some major foreplay before, once you wake me up for it. I'm all the way with it. I'm just saying. Anthony says, my partner will know when to back off, but in all seriousness, one day, oh my God. He said one day it won't function, so to speak. No matter what she does, it ain't happening, so I feel we should get the strokes in while we can. I can't with Anthony. Oh my God. God bless you. Every stroke matters, right? Okay. And so to catch you guys up, I started off by saying, did you see that video of the girls who tried, it looked like New Orleans, by the way, but the girls who tried to dine and dash at that outdoor restaurant? Did you see that?
Absolutely.
Girl, no, Monica?
Where is it?
So the girls...
I haven't seen it.
So it cuts to the girls walking back to the table, and what you could tell by the guys who were filming it live were saying is that they tried to dine and dash, and then realized they left their keys. So they had to do like the walk of shame back into the restaurant, and then try to be slick with it. And then when they realized they were being filmed, it was a whole awkward situation. So...
Embarrassing.
Yeah. That's super.
Just embarrassing.
just didn't really go as planned. Let's talk about y'all fast.
Y'all fast, because he said do not disturb.
And so is
Why
he.
not Chavez?
And so is he. Chavez fast. He over there, Chavez is fast.
Derwin said, y'all know how many pumps you can get off in 5 minutes? I'm so done with y'all. So done. So the other thing that you missed is the conversation that you started, Jen. You started in our online group talking about the spouses. So this was actually the inspiration for this live stream today.
The getaway house?
Yes, the getaway. So I say you got a getaway house if you want to get away from your spouse. So what is your stance on it? And then we'll get into, because I surveyed the people watching. And by the way, we have new people coming in. So if you didn't get a chance to vote on that one, let me know if you want to do yes to the getaway house and no to the getaway house if you'd be down for having a house to get away when you're married. But go ahead, let's hear your thoughts, Jen.
So what prompted that, as I told you, was Sex in the City. You know, they had gotten that large condo, but Carrie was never able to sell her condo. And then, like, they were on the odds, and she went off to finish her project, clear her mind, finish her project. So I am for the getaway house. However, I think that if there are situations where a couple owns two properties and one, say, for instance, is like an Airbnb or something like that, and you are to utilize that space for mental clarity, not to throw a bachelor party. I think those lines of communication should be open. There should be a level of understanding. There should be a limit. Like 3 years, no. A year, no. Couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, fine. You know, I mean, it's not saying that you or your significant other won't come back home at some point, but if you feel like things are hectic, hey boo, if you feel like things are hectic, and you just want that mental space
right
clear, I don't have any issue with saying, hey, you know, I'm going to chill out for a week or two.
Yeah. And I would say I think it's so healthy for people to continue to have their identity, to, you know, cultivate who you are. And I think it's really good to have things that you like to do independent of your person. Not only independent of your romantic person, but independent of people, period. Because I had a point in my life where everything that I enjoyed to do was contingent upon people. I like going to the movies if I have someone to go with. I like going out to eat and then I got to a point where I was like, I need to find things that I like to do, period. Because sometimes I don't want to be with someone else, and sometimes I can't be with somebody else. Just everyone's busy or what have you. So I think it's really good that we cultivate that and continue to cultivate that. I know for me, even if it wasn't like a separate house, I would want to have a separate space, you know, like a detached garage that could be converted into a studio. That's my dream, have, you know, YouTube studio or whatever. But yeah, that's my thought on that. Ladies, anyone else want to weigh in?
I don't think I could deal with. Not deal with. That's kind of weird.
It cut out for a second. Sorry, that's why it was a weird.
Two different houses where people. I said I think that's kind of weird, having two different houses homes where he'll go to one home. I don't know. I mean, everybody's marriage, like in the movie.
Not necessarily like, two homes, but you own two properties. You know, you still have one left. You live in a home, but you have a space. You have another house. Say, for instance, you were to move in. You got married. You own your house.
Mm-hmm.
You moved in with your husband, or you all, you know, bought a house together.
Mm-hmm.
You just never sold your house that you moved out of,
mm-hmm.
and that space is still readily available.
Mm-hmm. But then
proximity.
But you go to the house. Remember, because I remember in the movie, they used the house for like if he wanted to watch movies or TV, he could go to the house if she would be in the city, so she could go to dinner or lunch with the girlfriends or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like in this day and age with reality and not movies, I don't think that would be too. You know, you get into an argument, I'm going to the other house.
I can see how people would immediately use that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
that's why I said you have to open up
eventually-
communication and draw a line somewhere, draw some boundaries.
Yeah,
as
the
to
boundaries
what
is we're selling the
utilizing that
house.
for.
Yeah, the boundaries.
Right.
We got married. We're selling the house, and we're going to use this money. And we're going to put it in the savings, or we're going to go on a trip. I don't know about two different houses. That's
Chavez says, I think the best case scenario should be a house with a separate guest house or maybe a guest suite above the garage. For me, that's my ideal. There was a reality show that I was watching. This black country singer, because I can't remember his name, but there's pretty much only like one or two. But he had that. He had a detached garage that also had like a guest room built into it. But that was his space. Like that was him going to work. And so, you could be as loud as you want. You can do whatever. But it would be nice to kind of be in that mode. But I think boundaries should definitely be respected. Like if a guy wants to relax and do something. I was on a plane with this guy and we ended up sitting next to each other and just talking about his relationship. And he was saying how his girl could be watching her favorite show, have her phone out. We women do multitasking on her phone, doing whatever. And she was fine doing that and binging. But if he wanted to get on his game, it was always a problem. And it didn't matter if she wasn't doing anything either. And he was saying that was his way of connecting back home because he had relocated. And so you know how you can, I don't know if you guys are aware, but when you get on video games, you can actually be talking to the guys. So guys tend to like to bond over activities. Women, we can kind of just bond over just talking. But guys tend to like to be hitting balls or golfing or, shooting hoops or whatever. So that was his way of doing that. So I think that we have to be respectful of that person when they have their little hobby or their little thing or whatever, even if it's just I want to sit with a book out in the veranda, or having a cigar on the porch, just kind of giving them their space. So, Lashante, what do you think about having a separate space from your spouse on occasion?
I think that's kind of where all those man caves and she sheds and all that stuff came from. And I think it's cool if it's at home and you like build out, just like you said, and have your own space. But I think like if you're living apart, it should only be for like work purposes. Like somebody's job relocated and we all can't move right now and we have to split the difference or, and we're two separate cities or something like that. But to say you got a house around the corner that you can go to whenever you want to, I think that's going to be problematic.
Let's see.
What happens when you start getting comfortable? Because eventually you're going to you get comfortable being away from your husband or being away from your wife. I don't know.
This is my
not if it's a mental getaway. Like if I need to recharge.
And it's not a negative
thing. You need a mental getaway from your life.
I get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed, and I know when I'm overwhelmed, I'm not myself. I can be very quiet. I can be withdrawn.
It's like a decompress. It sounds like. It sounds like a decompress that you're talking about. Like
absolutely, yeah. and sometimes
what girlfriends are for, like good beauties. No, she said she needs to be by herself.
No, I recharge by recollecting my thoughts, refocusing. I'm not I recently lost my grandmother. I didn't utilize my girlfriends. I internalize things a lot of times and figure out how to recollect my thoughts, how to get back to my own. And sometimes I need a break from the pressures of life, so to speak. Yeah. Like you got to go to work and things like that. But if it's a week or two, so I'm not depressing a husband or a significant other, I don't see anything wrong with a mental recharge. and if that space is available, to just be able to say, okay, I'm having a moment and let me go reorganize myself.
Because it sounds like what you're saying is you're not trying to get away from your spouse. You're trying to get closer to yourself. Right. And I can relate to that because I remember being devastated when when it kicked in, what's going to happen as far as being a parent when I got divorced. Like, oh my God, there's going to be times without my children. And then after I got over the shock of it, I was like, it's actually kind of nice because when I'm alone, I can work without feeling guilty or just kind of selfishly be me or do whatever I want or walk around however I want. And so for me, obviously, I'm not trying to get away from my children, but I relish those moments. It reminded me that one of my guy friends, he's actually a relationship expert. He's certified, he's married, he seems happily married from his posts and things like that. But he admits that sometimes he will literally just get a hotel room just because. And it's just to kind of have quiet time, because they're parents. So he'll have time where it's just him time. And I never thought about it until he posted that. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool. It's like you have your time to recuperate or whatever. But I can totally see the other side, how it could be abused. I think if somebody uses it in lieu of talking through something, that's different. But I want to bring this up and then get to some of these comments because they've been popping. There's such a thing as, they say absence making the heart grow fonder. What's up, girl?
What's up, hey?
Hi.
Hey, girl, how you doing?
Good. I'm just trying to cook.
So you guys
grill. That's what
I was gonna say, are you grilling outside?
Yes.
I'm trying to get this together, y'all, because she cut off right now. Hold on, I'm gonna get through. So you guys who don't follow me on Instagram don't know this, but this weekend I spent real time with my girls, LaShante and LaTera. So I was able to see them in person, which it didn't feel like it was anything new. It felt like we've been knowing each other, but that's how it be on social media. But it was nice. You guys are going to see in the vlog. We got to hang out and eat food. I will say this. I will never go against their food recommendations ever again. I learned my lesson. I had plate envy. I definitely had plate envy. So LaTera, we're talking about having a separate space away from your spouse if you were married and having your separate space. I mentioned just now a guy who will every now and then rent a hotel, and I don't know if it's overnight or just for the day, but he'll just have his away space. Jen was mentioning how Sex in the City, Carrie had her space, even though she lived, was it when she lived with Big or shared a place with him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just some of the pros and cons of it. What do you think?
Support it. I'm with it. I absolutely support it. We could be next door neighbors as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
and you can live in your house. And I can live in my house. And then we can have dinner together. We can visit each other. But you still have that space to breathe. I'm okay with that, honestly. I think that is fine.
You know what I thought?
And then I don't have to share my closets.
You know what I thought of LaTera, though? Seriously, okay, so back in the day, if you watched like really, really old movies, and I know a lot of it was for TV because they didn't want to show two people in a bed together, but I thought about it, and it's like when you said next door neighbor, it just hit me. I love having my own space, and I like being able to not have to compromise on every single little thing, which is why having like his and her closets are good and his and her bathrooms are good. But can you imagine if you had your own space and you still had full access to each other's spot? It's not like, oh, I gotta have an appointment to ring the bell, but you had your own space. Right. You furnish it how you want, whatever. And then it's like when you get together, you have gotten, like, it's not like when you're lounging around and they just see you however all the time. You could kind of have a little bit of mystery to it. I'm not saying I'm totally down. I'm just saying I could see how that would be kind of cool. You leave each other when you're so cute and together, and then you go home and
either that or we can have houses with wings, and I get the east wing and you get the west wing, and there's like a tunnel. But
okay, so who pays the mortgage on both of these houses? I just wanted to know. Do I still have to pay the mortgage on my own house that I live in?
No. He would do it.
Well, then that works. Then I can make that.
Sign up. I like the wing idea, though. I like that. Oh, wait a minute.
I mean, granted,
Darwin, it's not because we can't get along, but people, when
Right.
you're older and you've lived by yourself for so long, sometimes it is difficult to merge spaces. And so one way to avoid that conflict is to either have two homes, but they need to be close. Like y'all, you can't live on one side of town and you live on another side of town, or you have a house that's large enough to give y'all your own separate individual space. So like my parents, they have their house and then there's like another smaller, like it's like an in-law suite type thing. So that's my dad's space. So that's where he does like whatever he does is clean his guns, play video, whatever men do, I don't know. That's his space for that. My mom, there like is certain rooms in the house. That's where she has her TV, her sewing stuff. He does not go in there. That's her space. But they, of course, they eat together. They sleep in the same room and everything like that. But they have literally independent spaces that is not off limits, but it's theirs. And it's enough separation that you can be, because they're retired. Like, you be about your business, leave me alone. Let me do me. Then we come together.
At home,
like a man cave.
But it's a separate dwelling.
Home, like
But that's what I'm saying. It's a separate dwelling that he can sleep in. So even though they still right there, it's still separate. Where if he like, are you getting on my nerves, girl? Let me go out here and lock this door. He can.
Yeah. But see, I think
my parents have one of those. My dad has. It's like a man cave, and like right above it, my mom bought him some. It's like it says man cave, and there's like a couch in there, and all his like memorabilia and everything that he loves is in that room.
And I don't think it necessarily, like I keep saying, I don't think it always has to be about wanting to get away from the person. Sometimes it's just not incompatibility as far as your style of living. So for example, some people are super OCD clean and they're always cleaning, and the other person's like, oh my God, I want to just come home and kick off my shoes and throw whatever. And it could be frustrating. And it's like, are these things really big enough to fight about? Or this one, I want to go to bed right away and I want it pitch black. The other person, I need the TV on and I need there to be noise in the background. So it's like, it's not about having a fight, but it could be about having very different lifestyles. So it's like, if you wanted to, or even like decorating, you could have radically different decorating tastes, but then in your man cave, you could make it all sports theme or all whatever the other person might think is god awful ugly. And then if she wants all yellow and all pink, you don't have to be on the same page about everything. I just feel like the older I am getting, the less conventional I feel the need to be, and not just shooting something down just because it's different, but, and not saying that's why people are doing it, but actually just thinking about it and saying, okay, is there anything that would have merit in this situation? So interesting.
But I like how Carrie and Mr. Big did it. Like, it wasn't like it was just her space. They had their home together, and then they kept her condo, and it was like, all right, you have this day a week, I have this day a week. But if we're working on a project or something where we need silence, you can go to the house. And it became a thing, not even just for them. It was their friends too would use it like, all right, I need a break.
Absolutely.
So I like that. Okay, let's get to some of these comments because they were going crazy. Anthony on one. He's always on one. But let me see. I'm going to go through because these too many to read. Let's see. And then we're going to go on to the waking up question. We're going to double back. He said, got to get a massage and eat for 45 minutes. Oh, they're still talking about the sex one. So we'll come back to that. So Shabazz was saying originally the separate guest house is the best case scenario, which I agree. These sexes, I gotta go back to it. That's why you get a man cave, woman cave. He said, she said, some men have 2 homes and 2 phones, but only pay for 1 home and 1 home. Ask the wife how it's working out for her. Oh snap! Will and Jada Smith live in 2 homes, and now he's a meme. Yikes. Let's see. Sounds more like dating. He said the little hobby is hitting balls. Shut up. I knew someone was gonna comment on that. Why gotta be a little hobby? I know, it's always gotta be little. I think it'd be very therapeutic and healthy to have a getaway space. Akira says that's not marriage. Double the bills because you can't get along. And again, it's not always about fighting, having a neutral space for fighting. It could just be wanting your own space. So can't share a space. I would agree that if you can't share a space, you don't get on, but it might be that you might not want to share a space. If you require a separate dwelling, it defeats the benefits you get from a monogamous relationship. But here's the thing. If it's done by choice, you can choose to. Like, you want to see your person, you come over, you can hang out. Like, I think that's the thing. It's you know that whenever they are there, it's because they want to be there. It's not like, dang, they're here again. They want to be there. So I don't know. I can totally see both sides. I'm not sold 100% either way, but I can definitely see. All right, so we're going to transition, ladies. We're going to get to the other question I had asked. Yes or no, would you want your spouse to wake you up for a little nookie? And we already had Jen and Monica answer, and they said, yes, please, and thank you.
Is it the time that I'm actually waking up? Like, is it like around my get up in the morning time?
That is a great question.
No, girl, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I said deep sleep, deep sleep.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't be 100% mad at you unless you knew. Like, I'm only gonna be mad if you knew. Like, I was like, dude, I'm exhausted today. Leave me alone. But other than that, no, whatever. It's cool. I'm riding. Let's do this.
Literally riding. Okay.
Let's do this.
And what about you, LaShante? You okay to be waking up? Awakened?
Oh, I'm a fan of the pokes in the middle of the night.
Midnight.
That's my
poke.
jam. That is my
As am I.
Poke me, daddy.
Exhausted or not.
She said poke at the
I get a
stroke
boost
of
of energy.
midnight.
It's like this energy just comes over me. I'm just
Yes.
Like, I don't know what just happened, but
and then I
I'm
go right back to sleep.
I'm here for the poke. I
So,
would like to
you
keep
might
the
sleep a little
weekend.
harder too. Okay.
Right.
But wait, but side note, I love that mauve lipstick, girl. Jennifer, I love your lipstick.
Yeah, you look.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that lipstick is fantastic.
I love it.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm here for it. I
so
think we'll both sleep better. It's fine.
Absolutely.
all right, so let's see. Hold on 1 second. I think my friend's still having technical difficulties. So Derwin says getting married is about becoming one. We're going back to the other one. He said this is a way to avoid becoming one. And I'm just saying, what if you can pick or choose when you want to become one? Because LaShante is saying she wants to become one in the middle of the night. You know what I'm saying? So the two will become one several times. All right, so here's my next question. You guys weigh in.
Middle of the night don't have to be formal. That's just
Just get what you need.
we trying to get
Get what you need to get.
He's skipping all the steps.
That's what we were saying. Is it? He said if it's got to be 4. But that was the other question I wanted to say. He said if he got to do all that, he said he's not gonna go. He's gonna go right back to bed. If you guys have just tuned in, please smash that like button. I see the couple who just joined on. And thank you to everyone who has hit that like button so far. We are almost even with the number of viewers and the number of likes. You know I like it to be even. So if you on here, you don't like it, why are you here? I'm just teasing, not really though. But hit that like button so YouTube knows that you're digging it as much as you know that you're digging it. Okay? So thank you. And shout out to all the new people. I have a bunch of new subscribers this week, so thank you for watching. All right, so here's the question. Someone else posted in a group, and she had a picture of herself, and she was saying how the guy that she was talking to said that she was wife material and all this stuff, and gave her all this praise, but that he would not want to be with her, like he wouldn't want to marry her because physically she did not fit the bill. And I will say this, she was considerably what appeared to be overweight, like fluffy. We can all agree on like fluffy. She was rather fluffy. Just to give the visual picture, okay? My question is, if a physical reason, if your physical look was the reason someone was not interested in you, would you want them to let you know when you were turned down, or would you just want them to just in general turn you down? Like, oh no, I'm not interested. Or would you want them to be like, hey, if it weren't for this, like maybe for me, I'm a big fan of side teeth, like, is that something that you want to know if it was a physical attribute?
I mean, I think it's the purpose of giving the comment, like, why are you saying this specific thing? you can just generally say, I'm not interested, and leave it at that. Because depending on what you don't know what type of insecurities that person may have already dealt with, like what kind of trauma or whatever, and you saying it might be an unnecessary poke to their trigger, right? So if you know you're not interested because of, say, someone's weight, and you know you're not going to get past that, say genuinely, I think you're a nice person, but I'm not interested in pursuing this romantically, and move on. Like, why? You don't have to be mean, because that can be mean.
Yeah. So
I mean, I like to know why. Like, I like open communication, even if my feelings may get hurt, right? It may be a trigger for me, but it may also be a way that I can grow. If there is something about me that is halting a person, it is a way that I might be able to grow for the next time. If I have all these attributes to someone, except for this one thing, yes, absolutely, I want to know what that one thing is, please.
But if it's like weight, I mean, that's shallow. Like, it's certain things.
But what is a little off-putting is, if he ghosted you initially, he already knew what size you was.
Right.
When he initially started talking to you.
So I think I'm trying to remember this post, but what I got from it was like they were dealing with each other. This is what I inferred, because she didn't put the ton. But I think they were dealing with each other, but she wasn't getting the commitment from him. And so he straight up was like, hey, it's just, you are.
And he said it was because of her weight?
Yeah. That
he lying.
He
lying.
You think so?
He probably got a whole situation.
The truth, but he's still a trash dude.
He had a whole situation, and she was just something that he was just dealing with on the side. Because if they were already dealing with each other, he didn't have a problem with a weight.
Some people, some men, P is C.
I don't know,
but to be able to go outside with that person and show them off to the world, some women are that shallow.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So he was coming over at nighttime. Was he just coming over at nighttime?
What's that?
Was he only coming over to house at nighttime?
I mean, this was a post, so I don't know all the details, but I'm just saying that basically, and I don't want to steer from this too. If it was just a physical thing, like, so I have seen people, and I've looked at them, and I was like, dang, if it weren't for XYZ, they could, we might be able to talk. It's something so simple. Somebody might have super yellow teeth. That's as simple as whitening them joints up. Someone might need actual braces. Maybe somebody needs to step up their wardrobe. They dress like an usher from 1974.
Let that person be great.
Would you still be dealing with them? Would you still be dealing with them when the sun goes down, though?
Listen, if somebody dressed like an usher from 1984, I am really good at suggesting. So he would not dress like an usher after about a couple weeks. All right. So that is okay.
So
I was not,
people should be with people that they're attracted to.
Right? But
yeah, like I feel like that was really trashy of him, because it's basically saying that I'll be with you in every other way, but the way that you want to be because of that. So it's like, why would you waste somebody's time and be with them physically in all the ways that you want to be with them, but not the one that they want? I just feel like. And I feel like women do that too. I don't think it's just that.
Right. I'll play devil's advocate. What if she was a jump off from the beginning and she knew this was just a physical thing? No, listen, there are some situations where this is a physical, and she caught feelings.
Yeah, then that's on her.
Then he wouldn't be making up the excuse that she's fluffy. He'd say, you knew I was in a situation already.
Or you knew what it was when we started.
When we started.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be... You're too big to be seen out in public with me.
Or maybe he felt like...
And I feel like they've probably been out in public and she looking for to become his wife. Like, y'all ain't never been on no skipping steps to marry.
He was already smashing. Y'all already...
steps.
But y'all, you know how many people will deal with somebody and not want to claim them or wife them? Like, there are so... They won't even go so so far as sometimes have baby, which I don't get that. I'm like, as a baby is more permanent than a wedding. I mean, a marriage, because you can absolve and dissolve a marriage union, but you stuck for life if you know what I'm saying.
Don't think so. But people don't think so.
That's so
I've
weird
heard
to
men
me.
justify that to death. That it's not the same and it's completely different, and they can have children by somebody that they don't want to be their wife.
Oh my
which I
God.
think is the most interesting thing or the strangest thing ever. But just like you said, that's a lifelong commitment. You can divorce somebody that you don't have children with and never see them again. If you have kids together, there is no stage of life that we're not going to interact.
Jacob said, "Is this a safe space, y'all?"
Jacob, I mean,
what did he say?
He said, "Is this a safe space?" Because I asked, "Would you want to know?"
No, I'm looking at the moped comment.
What
He said, "There's an old saying, not something I would say, but to add to the conversation, they say big girls are like mopeds, fun to ride, but when your friends see you, you want to get off
and not get off." And not get off.
But then Darren was like, "Abort! This is not a safe space."
It's not.
Oh my God! But have you guys? Okay, so you guys have never.
We've dragged men for way less than that comment. Trust me.
I was gonna say, but okay, let's say hypothetically. Of course, none of you sweet ladies would ever do this. But have you never heard of a girlfriend who had a dude who could put it down, but was not marriage material?
Wait, what did you say?
I said, not you, certainly, you sweet, upstanding ladies, but have you ever heard of a girlfriend who was dealing with a dude who could put it down, but was not marriage material?
Oh, girl, the best peen is tied to the horse man.
So, there you go. That's
what it is.
It goes beyond marriage. They don't even need to try to get in a relationship. Like, just stay single and put it down. Like, you have to know your struggle or your attributes.
Know exactly what you're dealing with before you decide to hop on that side.
So maybe that's what happened with Sister Big Bones. Maybe they were just dealing with each other. She caught feelings and she's like, why is this only being physical? And he's like, yo, shorty, like, yeah, this is just not it.
I mean, I think that's the problem with people. You gotta communicate up front. Y'all like my new nails?
I love it, pretty.
But you gotta communicate up front what the situation is. Like, are we just kicking it? Are we kicking it with the intention of growing? Are we intentionally trying to be in a relationship? Like, those are the conversations people need to start having up front. Because if we just kicking it, we just kicking it. But if we're saying that we're trying to see where this can grow to, then you have to have different actions. But if you don't clarify that in the beginning,
even when it's clarified in the beginning, not all women can say, I'm going to spend this amount of time with you. I'm going to let you come over until we'll have sex and get to know each other and be able to separate the two. As the same as men. Not all men say, I have intentions on getting in a relationship and 6 or 7 months down the road, they're like,
yeah, I mean, people can always change their mind, but that's my point. Like, it needs to be constant conversation so that you know that you both are still on the same page. So if I meet you and I say, and we be like, all right, we just kicking it, right? Literally, we just kicking it. So it is, that's what we doing. We just kicking it. So that means we doing whatever we decide we doing. And then later on, I'm like, oh, shoot, I think I caught feelings because we be together all the time. It is my job. Because I only can control me, my feelings, my happiness, my person. It is my job to say to him, hey, this is where I am right now. And are you there? And if you're not there, do you want to get there? Are you trying to get there? And if not, then I have to make a decision for myself.
Boom.
Am I okay with staying in the just kicking it because that was our intention? Or do I walk away because I know I need more and I know he can't give it? It is the onus is on each individual. We got to stop saying, oh, well, he was wrong for functioning in the manner of that because that's what they said they were doing, or vice versa. Like, it is the onus is on you. If y'all are just kicking it, guess what, sis, baby girl, homie, sweetie, I love you, but y'all were just kicking it. So you have to own the fact that he don't owe you anything else because that's what y'all said y'all was doing, and vice versa. I'm just saying, if you saying you want to be in a relationship with her,
I ended up in a relationship on accident. I never want that.
has to be between 3 and 5. If it's more than 3 or 5, it's a relationship.
I was
Jen,
in a
you
relationship and didn't know it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the situation, Jen?
How do you break up with somebody you didn't even know you went with? Like,
the situationship has to have a cutoff. There can only be a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
If it goes bad past too many times,
I'm together.
You are in a relationship.
Hey, we're together.
Hey, so we go together.
So I want to say really quick. I want to say really quick a shout out to my buddy Kenneth. Thank you for coming on. It takes a brave man to come on with all this testosterone.
How everybody doing?
First of all,
He's scared.
And I gotta say hello to Miss Cheekbones herself, Sai. Welcome back.
Hey, pretty girl.
Hi, everybody.
I feel like we have nicknames for almost all the cast members. We've got Headboard, if you could raise your hand. We've got Block Game Strong, if you could raise your hand. We got Cheekbones. And I'm just going to do this one for the last one. It's not even a name. She know who she is. She can fight. Little baby. Yeah, so we got to have Latera. We got to get her a nickname, too.
I don't have no nickname. I'm going to stop playing.
Baby.
That's Hulu.
I was just going to say Hulu. That's Hulu.
Don't do that because I already had to fight John this weekend.
How did your trip go? How was the trip?
Oh, thank you for saying that because actually I did want to say this. So it was really funny because as you guys know, John M. Singletary comes super hard in the comments. And ladies, how was he in real life? The perfect gentleman.
He's such a, let me tell y'all, John is the sweetest, perfect gentleman. He is. He's super sweet.
They don't like sweet. Even with Latera, we can't say sweet.
No, I'm sorry. He's a perfect gentleman. I'm sorry. He's not sweet. He's a perfect gentleman. Like even with walking LaShante and I to my car, he was on the street side. Like all of those little things. Like when they be like, "Oh man, chivalry's dead." No, like literally, he was the most chivalrous person. I did have to beat him up though because he tried to say I had an accent. And the whole Hulu thing and all of that. But, past that.
You had to get him together. Yeah. Total bar standard setter. When you have people who do, like, that's how my brother and my dad were with me growing up. And then you get around these knuckleheads and it's just like, yo. So shout out to John. Even though, he was trying to have all that smoke in the comment section. You guys will see him on the vlog. If you haven't subscribe because at some point, hopefully this week or next week, I will be dropping the vlog from DC. I shot so much stuff, so I'm gonna be editing for a minute. But shout out
to John. John's a good dude.
Shout out to John. Shout out to DC. There was so much good food, good energy. It was a lot. It was a lot.
That's always great.
Jacob said I'm learning so much. But I want to get back to what Latera said. And Kenneth, I know it's been a while since you've come on, but there are some strong personalities here. So you got to just throw your elbow in when you want to talk. I know you have no problem speaking up, but just setting that for the record. So I want to say, let's piggyback off of what Latera was saying about owning your stuff. And I wanted to do a whole video on this. A lot of times when I listen to somebody talk about this situation, they give so much power to the other person. And I imagine them to be like two people sitting in a car. You were in the driver's seat of your life, but when lanes are being changed and turns are being made, you're blaming the person in the passenger seat. That's how crazy it sounds to me when people blame the other person for what's going on. If a situation is grimy and whatever, it's up to you to walk away. Like you know, I used to say things like, "Oh, this person doesn't let me do," or they don't do that. And it's like, but I'm the person still here. So I think it would really do us all well to own our part in it. And if somebody is not acting the way we want, to move on. If they're not if they're not marrying us, okay, sometimes the why doesn't even matter. The fact that you haven't, I'm out. Like, we don't need, what is it called? Ultimatums and deals to be made. Like, actions speak louder than words. And I will say this. When I have dealt with people who did not seem emotionally stable enough to handle the truth, there were times where I picked and chose how candid I would be with the person. And there were a couple of times where I felt like an a-hole because I really struggled with being as transparent as I've asked for. Like, I preach transparency, just be transparent, be da-da-da-da. But when I found that people can't handle the truth, I'm like a turtle. I just want to go in my shell and be like, oh, I'll just give you this. And so I now realize that it could be intimidating. It could really be intimidating, especially the more that your truth is going to hurt somebody. That is not easy to say, you know, this is how I feel, or I don't love you anymore, or you know what, I'm not physically attracted to you anymore, or, you know, even for that guy to say that, like, hey, I've been messing with you, but you know, you're not the look like I pictured in my photo album. So shout out to the people who still are honest. Let's get these comments really quick, and then I'm gonna get to the next question. But in the meantime, my question, Kenneth, for you, I'm gonna ask you the three. Would you want a second place to get away from your spouse from time to time, or just have not get away from your spouse, but to have alone time? How would you feel about having a place that you could get away to on occasion when you needed your own personal Kenneth time? You think that's a good thing or a recipe for disaster? And his microphone is muted. We can't hear. Can you hear Kenneth? Oh, it's...
My bad. I had the mute button on. My bad.
I know. Sorry. Do you think
My
that's
bad.
a recipe for disaster, or you think there could be some good that comes out of it?
I mean, I think too much of anything is never good. So I think a balance is always necessary with anything in life, rather it be a relationship or just general stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like any healthy person definitely needs time to themselves. I mean, at the end of the day, healthy person is okay with being by themselves.
Yeah.
The significant other would just be a bonus until, you know, them having their piece already and then them coming with their piece, adding it together. So I'm a big believer in that if I was going to the strip club before I met you, it shouldn't be no problem with me going to the strip club after we be together either. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, at the end of the day, you want everybody to have their own individuality. And I think when you get to a certain point in relationships, when people can still have their individuality and have a relationship, they understand that space. So going with your girl, like, I holler at you. See, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I think we as human beings, our normal instinct is to latch and hold on to each other. So you can latch and hold on to somebody. I mean, as a man, I don't been in a situation where somebody can latch on. I still do what I want to do. Even if you latching, I'm still running, so it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I play football. I know how to break tackle. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know, but I'm just saying, man, people do that all the time. But at the end of the day, you have to have that enough self-love and care about yourself that knowing that somebody did you wrong, you got two options. You either deal with it or not deal with it.
Yeah.
You roll with it. So that individuality, getting that space by yourself, I think is very pertinent to all relationships, you know. And if you marry somebody you don't trust them, that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? You with that person you don't trust them, then you know, that's on you. So that's how I feel about it in a sense. I think it is very important to have your individuality time. Do what you need to do, whatever. You know, we all have to even work. We have to take, that's why they give you vacation days. You know what I'm saying? Get 2 weeks out of 365 days, but you get to get you some me time. You know, after you don't bust, because you've been at work every day, it feel like, right?
And you might love your
2
job.
weeks to go in, hey, you need a break. Everybody need a break. So I think it's important.
Okay, the second question, because everyone else already answers. Oh, Asai, I'm going to give both of you, actually. What is your thought on that? Do you think there are more pros or cons to having a safe space, I'm just kidding, a separate space from your spouse from time to time?
Can you just go drive around the block? I don't know. I don't want no separate home. That's kind of...
But who said that separate home? Who said a separate home? She said a getaway space. You go to Vegas for a week or 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Set up somewhere. It don't necessarily have to.
Sorry, Jen.
I think the post said two separate living spaces.
I didn't hear that part.
But one would suit as a getaway type of environment, like if you need a moment to yourself.
Yeah.
Situation.
So I guess to answer that question, even looking at that, is the separate space and the other person named by itself, or is it in both their names?
It's in both our names.
That's the question you asked.
That's a real question.
In both people's names.
I'm saying, so how you answer that one?
And by the way,
if it's in both our names, that ain't gonna I'm just going up to the cabin. I'm getting away because if we own the cabin, I just went to one place, you went to the other place. But now if I got a own spot, I don't did the whole real estate on my own. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's something different right there.
Yeah, no, not so. And both people have access. By the way, Kenneth, he said to be strong, the one and only brother on the screen. So Jacob is giving you that brother vibe. He said,
"Why don't you come on, Jacob? So he won't be the one and only."
Oh,
how about that?
And you calling my man out? He might be busy.
He might be real busy.
He's not busy. He got a lot of comments on this YouTube.
Well, see, like Chavez
had this kind of time.
Chavez wanted to come on, but he wasn't able to come on camera right now. So sometimes people could be available to, type, but they're not available to come on.
Yeah, type.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let's see.
What you cook?
Oh, so I made some flounder, some corn. I cut up some broccoli, onions, and mushrooms and put those on the grill. And then I made some vegan burgers because I really don't eat vegan food. Let's be very clear. But a young lady I went to college with, she started a vegan company, and so I had bought some, and so I'm like, oh, let me try. I am supporting. Of course, I would support her. She went to my college, and it's the best school ever. So I'm sure they're great. Even though I hate vegan food, I'm sure they're great.
Supporting with coins is always good.
Yeah, so I put those on the grill. Yep, I just threw it on the grill. Huh? The Bowie State University.
The Bowie State. Let it be known.
That's what it is. The Bowie State University.
I know that's right.
And,
okay.
And if y'all want to try the vegan burgers, it's Go Legendary. You can find them at Safeway, Giant. I think it's Alchemy or something. Ace, whatever that. Awesome. They're there. They're also in Target. So yes,
very nice. Speaking of support,
business, yes.
And they two black HBCU grads. They went to the Bowie State University, the Morgan State University, and the Howard University. Get into those HBCUs.
There we go.
The Southern University A&M. I'm just saying.
Come on, Chavez. It's enough to share.
So shout out to LaShante. Speaking of support, she done copped some merchandise, got her a t-shirt, and which she got hand delivered because I just happened to be seeing her right there. And I want to say, I can't remember if Kenneth did or not. Kenneth,
I have 2 shirts.
I was going to say, I feel like you did, but I was like, that'd be awkward if you didn't. I said your name, but I didn't want to miss you. I'm pretty sure you did as well. So thank you to you. And he has a lot of
great.
really fresh clothing as well. So, and by the way, you guys, anyone want to plug your social media in your name, you can do that here and promote yourself as a little thank you for being on here. That's that. What did somebody say something? Oh, they're talking about the separate places. They said absence makes the heart grow fonder or something like that. He said, Chavez says, I'm glad Kenneth mentioned the importance of maintaining one's individuality. Jacob says, strip clubs are like going to the buffet and can't eat. I'd rather pay my wife to strip. She may buy groceries later. Now, what's so funny is I had just said that this week. I said, I don't get why guys like the strip club. I feel like it would just be a tease. You can't do anything.
But the strip club actually has really good food.
They do have good wings. I ain't gonna lie,
really good food.
But to be fair to what he was saying, the golfer he's saying, he is right. That was just an example as far as the strip club. I mean, that's just something that I know, like some guys still do that. Me, personally, I don't get it either. Like, I'm not about to spend money I can't get it back. Like, I mean, like you said, you can have somebody at the house do that, at least get some of it back. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you.
I think that some places strip club is a culture. Like, in Atlanta, Miami.
I was literally explaining Atlanta strippers to my guy.
It depends. Like, I've seen people, like, in Atlanta, you can see anybody in the strip club. It's not just guys, or a set of girls over here. You can see like an old elderly couple in there eating their food.
A family, a little family of 4 having dinner. Timothy,
right? Of course, but like older people. Like in Atlanta, the strip club is really, really different. Like it's just like another place you go after the regular clubs is closed.
That's
and
so
it's
funny.
like in normal conversation, like we going to throw somewhere. Like, okay, let's go to the strip club.
Like it's a burlesque club.
It's just like a normal thing you do. And I spent spent a lot of time in Miami in my youth, and it was like that there too. I mean, because you're gonna see celebrities in there. You don't know who you might meet. Like, let me stop. This
right now.
Like
yep.
in my 20s
no,
and
in
Miami, like I have met some like real potential, like some good dudes, like in the strip club, and they hollering, there's somebody naked up there, and they're like, where you going after this? You want to give me a number? You want to talk? Like seriously, it was like it's somebody naked right there, but you know, like I can't take her home.
It's not. I don't know. It's just so.
The strippers you can nowadays.
No, you can do even more with strippers, I heard. All right, so we're going to switch it up, you guys, to something that was trending and very, very controversial. I even had a family member reach out because she saw one of my comments on the actual original post. But Auntie Monique jumped on, and ironically, she was in a robe. But she was in her house, but still she was in a robe publicly. But making the point about bonnets. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm not going to share mine until the end. But what are your thoughts about... Wait, is there anyone who hasn't seen the video about Monique, by the way?
I haven't seen it, so I'm going to be quiet on this.
I haven't seen it, but I have my own...
I have my opinion about it. My daddy told me about it.
So
I
just
have an
in a
opinion
nutshell...
about bonnets, and I always have.
In a nutshell, what Monique said... Sorry, Jenny, I'm going to cut you off. In a nutshell, Monique was saying that there is a level of decorum that women should have, and that if you do certain things, you're going to be looked upon a certain way within society. And so she was saying to the black queens, that was not a good look. That's essentially what she was saying. So there have been very polarizing reactions, or the actions were very polar. So does anyone
I just want to know why we having a conversation about it. Like, man, listen. Wow, I would never. You won't ever. I literally just stopped wearing high heels to the airport because when you used to see me in the airport, I was dressed like I was on a fashion show because you never know who you're gonna meet. Like, I'm like, look, I could meet the man of my dreams, and I want to be together, right? Listen. I used to go to the airport. It could be 6 a.m, full face stilettos. Like, that was my thing. But then I had to run through Atlanta's airport, so the stilettos, I realized they had to go. So the one time I was like, oh, can't do this anymore. But I still go to the airport, very together. Like, you going to catch me with a full face, and I'm going to be dressed as if I'm going somewhere because there are times when you have to get off the plane and just go, right?
Right.
But that's me. But if sis want to wear her bonnet and her slippers, that's her. Like, I don't care that much about the next person to care to debate this subject. Like, I get where Monique's coming from. She's an elder. And for an elder, it's not okay, right? Because, back in the day, you walk outside looking crazy, your grandmama or your mama's going to whip you behind. You're not going outside looking like some dirty little ragamuffin in their mind. So
unless it was Easter Eve and you had that one roller in your bag.
Right, because you had that one roller because it had to be popping. You had to have that popping back. But that's my thing. Like, she's an elder, so I took it as her being an elder, saying, "Hey, this is how, as an elder, I think." But I really think the conversation really should have been dead and gone by now.
Ladies,
who cares?
What are your thoughts?
I have like this little airport outfit that I wear. I like to be comfortable. I don't like to be, I don't know. I like sweats, a hat, or I just have my hair like up in a messy bun. But as far as bonnets, I mean, y'all know, I done towards, the after show with close, just close people of y'all that I do know. Like, I'll put my bonnet on.
Yeah.
But as soon as it's somebody that I don't know, I'll snatch it off real quick.
But that's not being broadcast publicly. So that's, to me, the equivalent of being in the house. So, to your defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like a private phone call type.
I mean, but to what Monique said, I don't know. If I see a girl wearing her bonnet, I mean, I don't care. It doesn't bother. It really don't. I mean, I'm sure she did some things that she might not have been proud of back in her day that is not being, aired out. She is the queen of comedy. She was talking about sucking peen and doing this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Where was your class? Where was your class then on how we have to carry ourselves as ladies and queens when you was telling us, you know, about doing this and third?
Baby.
Right. You know what I mean? But shoot.
You know what?
Men wear their do-rags.
You have a daughter, so I'm curious.
Men wear do-rags out.
Let's talk about that, because nobody who wears slides like everywhere they go with socks and a do-rag and like sweatpants with holes in them is gonna tell me about somebody else's bonnet. Like I feel like at least once a month there's something to tear Black women apart. Like I don't think that is that's not something I would do. You know, but I was raised differently, and I'm from the South, and there are certain things that you don't come out of the house in all kind of way. However, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. And I feel like they're being dragged unnecessarily. Like I feel like there's some deep, hateful undertones when it comes to this whole bonnet topic. And it's like, it's not that regular topic that most people have. Like this, you just shouldn't have this bonnet on. It's like now it's like dragging these Black women now because now you're a horrible person because you wear a bonnet outside. Like it's like the deep hatred of Black women undertone for me. Like it just feels like really disrespectful and nasty and hateful at this point. And I don't feel like it has anything to do with the bonnet right now. It's just the hate that Black women receive for just anything.
But LaShante, did you see Monique's, and then I want to hear Kenneth, I know you were talking earlier.
I watched a piece of it, and she was not dressed appropriately to be addressing somebody's way of dress.
Did you feel like she was dragging women, though? Because you were talking about the hatred, and she specifically spoke about that. So did you feel that she had hatred in that video? I agree with you on the look. The look was horribly ironic.
Yeah, well, I don't think specifically she had a hatred. I think it was something that she probably was watching some things on her phone and felt like she needed to weigh in on a topic. But I think it's viral because I think the first thing I saw was Plies. Like he's the one that posted a picture of the line of Black women in the airport who had the bonnets on. Like it was, and that picture went viral, and that kind of sparked the whole topic of conversation because it was like 6 Black women in the airport line, and they all had bonnets on. And they looked like they were traveling.
It's because Derek Jackson left for opening, so Plies was like, "Ooh, let me come up on this game like him and Kevin." That's all.
Who was the person who posted the picture?
Plies, the rapper.
What is his name?
He said something about Plies. You don't know who Plies is?
You don't know who Plies is?
His name was Plies?
Plies. P-L.
That's what I've seen it written down, but I couldn't tell you who that was. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
So for me, this is like one of those instances where what someone else's daughter or child does not affect me. However, I expect my children that I raise, my son and my daughter, to carry themselves to a certain standard when they leave the house. So if I were to catch my daughter outside with a bonnet, we would have a serious talk about how do you leave the house when you're supposed to be dressed.
So nobody,
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds
I don't find it offensive to look at other women, but for my daughter, I think that you can put a hat on. There are other alternatives that you can utilize to. I don't know other circumstances. I know my children's circumstances.
So you guys, it sounds like nobody is opposed to the bonnet. I mean, nobody is pro bonnet in public, but it sounds like the issue is somebody speaking on someone else's decision. Am I correctly?
I mean, in that point, yeah, but I think what Monique was mainly saying is that we got to a point where we don't care. And it's to a point where, I mean, you always been told to dress for success. So dress for the job you want. And your appearance is very important. I mean, you can run up to a dude who got dreads, raggedy clothes on, and basically he might be the most intelligent person you ever met in your life. But on his appearance, based on what he looked like he might not have no common sense because that's the perception. So if you're out in public wearing bonnets and all this stuff, and ain't nothing wrong with it, you do what you want to do. Well, we already look at like we're not intelligent. You can be very smart. So carrying yourself a certain way in public is always important. People are like, we shouldn't judge people, but reality is everybody just, even the people that say they don't judge, still judge. You feel what I'm saying? It's just human nature. You can, some things in life you can't escape. It's in our DNA. No one's exempt from certain traits because we face a world and a culture that's across the board the same, and we all face the culture. Unless you're like a monk, you living in the mountains somewhere. Other than that, you in the real world, you're dealing with the same stuff everybody else dealing with. For the most part, whether you got money or don't got money, we all deal with the same problems across the board in a sense.
I'm so glad you
reality
said that,
yeah, but so reality, all she was saying is that black women, we gotta do better. It ain't even that, because even think about what her situation about her not getting that money from Netflix and she was getting underpaid, but other people's getting millions. They try to give her 100,000, whatever it was, thousand. You know what I'm saying? She felt some kind of way. So even with her speaking up, she talking like, yo, they treating us how we look. So you look like crap, we're gonna pay you like crap in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Rather go up to respectful, like, yo, you're gonna give me my money. Like I said, it's just, you can't listen. I can't be Jay-Z. Jay-Z is paid, right? Jay-Z can walk around with sweatpants, hair looking crazy, and everything, but he's already laid a foundation as Jay-Z. Jay-Z can listen, put paint on his face and walk around, and nobody would say nothing to him.
Yeah.
You might say, oh, he look crazy, but Jay-Z, he's done so much already. And there's people that haven't even done nothing, and you still act like you don't have a common system. Like it's almost like it's just our culture. I think it's like even with the TV shows, from the music. And I like, don't get me wrong, I love trap music. You know, we all listen to trap music. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you got people getting paid off, people actually going through real situations. And they give you pennies on the dollar. Like with your situation that you escaped, you really can't put a price in that because your life was at stake with most of the situations. And ain't no price on life, really, or time. And someone will come in and give you pennies on the dollars, rap the song to keep your people in that mindset. Because if you listen to something long enough, I'm a strong believer that you become what you subject yourself to constantly. You know, you ever been around somebody and they play a song, you're like, I hate that dang song, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you might just be walking and you might say a word from the song because you don't heard it so many times.
No, it's true.
Because it's kind of embedded in you. So that repetitive of doing better with the bondage you had up others, because it's becoming a perception that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jennifer said, she teaches her kids in the household to walk a certain way. So, and that also starts with the foundation of the house, because you can't really go out, you only face the world with what you taught in your house. You know what I'm saying? That reflects. That's why when kids go to school, they cutting up. Because, I mean, most of the time they do that because it starts at the house most of the time. And then the school might be like a little recession, but then even the kids get help at school, they still got to go back home and face the environment that might not even be conducive to their life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that whole home structure, that's all she's saying is like, yo, we got to do better. That starts in the house, not social media. That means as back to the roots when like Black Wall Street, when black folks had things, you know what I'm saying? And look the part, you know what I'm saying? Had their hair done and all this stuff, you know what I mean? It's just the perception of the world at this point in the culture that we live in. All I think she should do is just try to.
You have to want better to do better.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this,
but we're not doing better.
Chavez,
we're not animals.
Chavez got me dying because he said, "Where was the bonnet talk when Little House on the Prairie was on TV?" That's why I was cracking up. I was trying to keep it straight.
That's why Berenstain Bears, Berenstain Bears, she stayed with that bonnet.
She did. So that's why I agree with LaShante. Like, I'm not mad at what Monique said. I really took it as an elder saw something, heard something, and she's giving her opinion as an elder, right? Because she's an elder now. That's why she was like, y'all call me auntie. Right. I'm going to own it. That's fine. But I do agree with LaShante. The bigger conversation is a problem because now it's more so just hate towards Black women.
Why is it hate though?
No, because like if you hear the way that they're dragging, it's not even about you shouldn't like. Do you know how Monique said it? She was like, present yourself well, da 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 da. They're literally like, oh, these women gotta be gutter trash. Like they're saying such disparaging things.
Like speaking to their character.
Who they are.
Yeah, it's bad.
I might not subscribe to people wearing a bonnet out, but I don't think that makes them the worst person in the world.
It's not a character reference for their life.
The topic changes, but the hate never does. Yeah. Like every month, there's some new reason why Black women are the worst people in the world.
That's true now. Listen.
Like, I have never seen so much, like, negativity and so much awfulness.
It's from her show?
No, this is not from Monique. This is the bigger conversation.
I'm talking about.
But you know what's so crazy about that?
Social media as a whole.
What's crazy about that is that what you're saying is right, but if you really look at the backbone of America, the Black woman has carried it always.
We know. And we appreciate you saying it, brother.
And we just want some respect for that. Like, everything about who I am and for the Black women that I grew up around and the Black women I know, every part of them is to support, uphold, and sometimes carry a black man. And it's like
Right.
this new wave of thinking that black women stop doing that at some point. It upsets me. And I feel like people can feel any way they want to, but to just like be so hateful and just to be dragging and saying all the most hateful, nasty things about black
But you
women.
understand, it's got to a point where, all right, so if I'm going to, listen, I just learned this is the art of war. If you're going to conquer something, you got to divide somehow, some way. You know what I'm saying? You can never take on the whole piece. So and if you think about it, like I said, it goes back to the music, the TV shows, everything that they put on. If it's on TV and it plays on replay, on the radio player replay, a lot of stuff has no real value. And most of the people rapping these songs and doing some of these ghetto shows is our people. So therefore, the value is already be spoken out the black man's mouth about the women being a hoe, being this, go for number two. So at the end of the day, it's a bigger problem, even with these folks that's getting money now, because at the end of the day, we're conditioned to believe that we are in competition with each other. Really, the only competition you really have is yourself, because you only gonna get as far as you think.
And that's
the real talk. Can't nobody stop that.
I want to add this
the mindset.
too. Oh, sorry.
That's the mindset, and that's the culture. So that's bigger than her. So for her to even say that, when she came from the same circumstances these black women came from, all this stuff. I mean, on her. It's like I said, it's a division going on amongst the people, and it's always been that way since slavery. You know what I'm saying? You had the field nigga and the house nigga. You know what I'm saying? Division. And the field nigga hate the house nigga, the house nigga stay in the house all day. You know what I'm saying? And the field dude out the field, he work like a slave all day. And it's still the same mindset. They just a different. Even think about the NBA players or NFL players. These dudes get paid millions of dollars, right? And without these players playing, these other folks don't make money, right? But as soon as they're no longer valuable, what do? They get rid of them, right? It's just, you just fade out. The world talk bad about you. It's like LeBron. LeBron is probably one of the greatest players I've seen in a while. And he's not even my favorite player, but I respect him as a businessman and as an athlete. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is, when he lost, the people dragged him. They talked about him like, oh, this, that, comparing him to Jordan. He's not Jordan. He's LeBron. Jordan, Kobe was Kobe. And that's what we do as black folks. We're all comparing versus who's better. Why? Why does it even matter? Swizz Beatz make good music. Timberlake make good music. I listen to both of them. So why does it matter who's better? They both dope in their own right. So what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? But that's the mindset to compete against each other. Like we try to, you just think about it, crabs in the barrel. Everybody wants to be the king of nothing. So in this instance with Monique, she left the situation that a lot of these young women came from. She's at a bigger position. So now, instead of pulling up, she still pushes people down. You know what I'm saying? But that's also a cultural thing.
I'm going to give a different take on that, Kenneth. So for me, I received the spirit in which she said it. I received it like an auntie, like Latera said, an elder. I feel that it's a privilege to be raised in a home where you have parents who can groom you for the best opportunity for success. We might not like certain rules, but they are rules of life. Like I say, you can be mad about gravity and feel like gravity is the law of gravity is not fair, but it's a law. Right. So you can be mad all you want, or you can figure out how to make it work for you. So to me, when people get in these really deep conversations about, I know we were joking about Little House on the Prairie or what have you. Yes, you could technically say, what does one bonnet have to do with the other bonnet? But the fact of the matter is, a hair wrap is considered something that you're supposed to wear at night, like universally. Most people would agree with that, right? So there are certain rules. So what I feel like Monique was saying is that if you carry yourself in a certain way, you're going to be viewed this way whether you realize it or not. It would be like somebody coming into a fine dining establishment, has never heard of a salad fork, and they're eating with their dessert fork. They don't think anything of it, but they don't realize that the people around them are making judgments. Now, this is not to say that judging is okay, but if you don't even know that that's a thing, you're going to be giving an impression. And I look at it this way. I would like to know that there are other forks. I would like to be able to move in any circle, and I would never want something that I'm doing externally to limit me and my abilities to do something. When I was in retail, one of my very first jobs when I was just a teenager was retail. And they would tell us to be on the lookout for certain things. They said one of the things is if the person's not dressed for the weather, if it's 90 degrees and they got on a hoodie, or if they have a Target bag and there's no Target in that mall, not even attached to it. There are certain things that you look out for. somebody could say, oh, you're judging people because they're dressed a certain way, but the reality is a lot of times people who are doing criminal activities are doing certain behaviors. So if I'm telling you, hey, people who tend to do criminal behaviors are doing this thing, wouldn't you want to know so that you don't get confused with someone doing this criminal activity? Now, if you know this information and you still choose to act this way, accept the ramifications. So for me, if somebody looks at someone who is dressed for the house, but they're going out, you have to understand that there are going to be assumptions made that you don't have home training. There are going to be assumptions made that you are ghetto or whatever the assumption is going to be. I feel like there's no harm in letting the person know, this is how you receive if you do this. Now, if you still want to do it, cool, but understand this is how you're going to be received. I think it is silly and what is the word I'm thinking of? Naive to think that you can then go and change everyone's perception. It's like saying, I'm trying to change the law of gravity. 9 times out of 10, people are going to say, this is low class, this is ghetto, whatever word you want to describe it. We agree, but I think sometimes we're hypersensitive in our society where we want to get mad at the person telling the truth. Now, I don't disagree on people being rude. I don't think that you need to tell the truth in hate. You can tell the truth in love.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's all this, I think we've swung the pendulum the other way sometimes. Like, let people wear what they want to wear, but then they look a certain way, like, you know, they might look like a stripper or a prostitute.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're
wear
swinging the
what they
pendulum where it's like there should be no ramifications for anything that I do. And if you say anything about it, you're a hater. And I don't think that everybody is a hater. And I also think that people trash black men. So I will say this. I don't think that black women get singled out as being talked trash on. I think that black men get put down a ton. But I also don't think that everything can be lumped in. So all I'm trying to say is this. Everybody who has a problem with people dressing that way are not haters and they're not bashing black women. I'm the actual opposite. When I see another black woman and I'm in a situation that's mixed, it hurts me because I'm thinking, I don't want us to represent ourselves this way. And you took the words out of my mouth, Kenneth, when you talked about the Harlem Renaissance. I'm so proud when I watch movies like that and I see the women dressed with their gloves and their hair is nice and they carry themselves a certain way because it's just so dignified. And so when I see somebody who men
we're a proud people.
Yes, I'm so proud of us. When I see men with their pants sagging or girls, you know, with their fuzzy slippers and all that, I don't look and go, that's my people. I'm like, oh God, that's my people. That's where that energy
but
is.
You know what? And I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was actually
so sorry. But I think it's also the demographics of what we are watching and looking at too, and seeing a lot of the reflections of that particular group. Because if you go on Poor White Trash group on Facebook, they're dragging the women in Walmart with their butts hanging out and no bras and no teeth on.
Oh yeah,
so I think
they tripping
it's the demographics and the groups. We're not on. We're not listening to.
That's a good point.
The local country stations hearing about what their issues are in their communities. We're listening to what the issues are in our own communities. So I think it looks. And yes, it can be a problem that we're dragging each other, but we are also, can we hold each other accountable as well? Because there has to become a point in time where, yes, it is a sensitive subject, but just because it's a sensitive subject does not mean that it should not be addressed.
Yes. And the men should grab the boys who have their pants and be like, come on, fellas, like, let's get it together.
But then you have that right, though. At the end of the day, it's like a catch-22. Because at the end of the day, you want people to be free and be themselves. But like I said, we as a people have so much work to do within ourselves that there's no longer, I don't care about white thing, but I think about my own people. Because at the end of the day, we have
I was just using that as an example.
I get what you're saying.
We're the only ones being drugged. We aren't.
Yeah, we drag each other. That's what like I said, it's almost like that Willie Lynch letter. They said it ain't real, but if you really think about the concept of controlling anybody, that's what you do. You divide it. Like the Roman Empire, I'm not saying they got divided. They couldn't be beat. They ruled the world. They ruled over the Egyptians, everything, took some of their beliefs or whatever and incorporated with them to keep them in control. But the thing is, if you get something to rot from the inside out, it's going to kill it. That's exactly what happened to the Roman Empire, because at the end of the day, we are such a culture that we're becoming prideful. We're standing up with black kings and queens. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You have people say this, and then the same instance, turn around and do some goofy stuff on the back end.
And I think
you know what
that,
I'm saying? Like,
to Chavez's
we
point,
do a whole
though,
lot of...
Sorry, I was going to say, to Chavez's point, though, competition isn't exclusive to black people. And I also think, because I've been guilty of this, but I think that a lot of times we do put things on as being a black thing. But I love what Jen said. I'm not listening to black music. Non-black music. I'm not watching non-black shows. I'm not hanging out in non-black circles because my black pride is strong. But they have the same issues too. And I think, like, I hate it when people say, well, white people don't have this problem when it comes to certain dating, or white women.
No.
They all have their own problems, but this is what we're looking at. I just, for me, my whole content is about living your best life, not squandering your life, but also taking control of you. When you give your power, I feel like when we blame so much on other people, or this is what black people do, it's taking away our power. I just feel that each person, they all agree on what standard, what is presentable. Like if you go to the Kentucky Derby, you're not going to see somebody in some tattered jeans and some overalls, because they've agreed this is a nice event. We're wearing dresses. We're wearing oversized hats. Right. So I just think that we need to stop being in denial that there is a certain baseline of what decorum is and how we speak and carry ourselves. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's true. But how do you go about implementing to effect? Because like I said, there's a division amongst us in reality. There is. And I don't care about the other races they got going. That's not my problem. At the end of the day, we ought to look at as enemies. I promise everybody who look at us look beneath us. Like they look like we're beneath them. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing we face. Even if they are facing their own problems within their own culture, we are still looked at the lesser battle.
But that's why we have to do so much better, because we already have that target on our back. If we look hood, that's gonna even more.
No, you don't allow them to look down on you. You demand that respect. You take that back.
Oh yeah,
correct.
I know.
That's not a narrative I sell. You're not about to tell me to work twice as hard.
I went to Capitol Grill the other day with a good friend of mine, and I go in. I'm not masked because I am vaccinated or whatever. And the lady behind the podium is like, well, do you all have your masks? Now, my friend that I'm with, she has a mask on. And she says, you mean the one that's on my face? And I looked at her and I said, I didn't think it was a requirement because you don't have one on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And she said, well, I'm vaccinated. And I said, and your assumption is that I am not? I said, could you seat us table of two, please? Thank you.
I wouldn't even spend my money there.
You keep your job. No, I came to eat, and I like their crab cakes and their lemon drops. And you gonna serve me.
I'll go get this,
whether you like it or not.
You better get my coin.
Period.
Welcome, Chavez. Welcome. Thank you for joining the broadcast.
Chavez,
you on mute.
Get your life together, Chavez. Get it together.
What it do?
Come on now.
Hey, Chavez.
I hate that you all still have sunlight. I'm jealous.
Right.
Yeah. No, let me give you the full. Oh, yes. Look at all of that.
Oh, you petty.
Yes.
So I think the point is, like, we turn into victims in a lot of situations. But we got to grab it back. I could have easily have left and said, "Oh, I'm not going to patronize. No, I came for the lemon drop and your crab cakes, and that's what you're going to serve me today."
Oh, she said you're going to serve me.
You had to check somebody.
And that's on period.
Right, listen.
It was
Jen had to check someone.
Yes.
Jen check someone.
Let me tell you something. I take pride in checking others. When I say I take pride in checking others, because when you can do it in a way,
you're not chasing me away. That's what you want to do.
When you can do it in a way with intellect and your emotions don't run high,
ooh,
they will lose their shit. Like, it's gone. But you still keep it cool.
That's the key, Chavez. No emotion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm the queen of that. And it's like every time it happens, my friends talk about it for the next 3 months. Like, that's the topic of the conversation. Like, you remember that time we were at dinner and LaShante made the manager cry? Like,
not cry.
Listen, we were out for my friend's birthday and we had brunch for her birthday and it was a crowd of us. It was probably like 12 people. And it was another 10 people like in the corner. So we were like off in a room to ourselves. And they had an issue with their Wi-Fi being down, so we couldn't pay electronically. So for a very long time, nobody told us what the issue was. We were just kind of sitting there waiting for, to be able to pay and waiting for checks. And the waitress never came back and said that that was the issue. So we're going into like another half an hour or so now, 45 minutes, and nobody has said anything. People need to leave. People need to go, pick up their children. Like all types of things are happening. And finally, the waitress comes back and says there's a Wi-Fi issue. We're unable to let you guys pay electronically. We're so sorry, blah, 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 blah. So, we're waiting again. They're like, maybe the system will come back up. If you have the, ability to get cash, please do so and pay that way. So everybody's scrambling. We're trying to figure it out. So I guess she was the manager. And she was younger. And she came in and the other table was asking her something. And then one of my friends was like, listen, I have to go. I've been here long enough. I have something else to do. I have to be at work later. What is it that I can do? And she yelled at her. Oh. And she did it. She was like, there's nothing we can do. It's like something like that. It was something where she was like having a moment. And she screamed at her. And she was doing an about face to walk out of the room. And I was like, yep, we're done here. Listen. Hey, look, don't turn your little self around. Because we're not done with you. You don't get to scream at her. I said, we're being inconvenienced, not you. I said, you're having a problem, but you're management, and you're supposed to be able to fix it. But while you're fixing the issue, you're supposed to still give us great customer service. You know why? Because we're customers, and you're a leader. And leaders have to face problems all the time. We all work. We're all business professionals. We don't have meltdowns at our job. So you don't get to scream at your customers. You don't get to be rude to us. You don't get to walk out on us like we don't matter. So I need for you to lead, do your job, comp these tabs, and let us go home because I've had enough. We've been here for 45 minutes. Make it make sense. Make it right.
Period.
Who's over here? Where's your boss? Let's talk to him. Comp these checks so we can go home. I'm not going to be here all night waiting on your system to come back up. That's your issue, not mine. That's the you problem. We've eaten. We're done eating. If we can't pay, then you need to figure that out. But it's time for us to go because we've been here for almost an hour.
I want everyone on this call, I would love for everyone on this call and everyone who sees this video to really take this in. If you are Black, your ancestors put up with some of the worst conditions and treatment that any human being could ever put up with. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I feel empowered to speak my mind and to be treated a certain way. If I am treating you with respect, you are going to treat me with respect. And at the end of the day, that's what we all should do.
Like, yeah, and I'm not asking you permission to treat me with respect.
Exactly. Yeah.
We should never
put up with anything. We should never feel like we shouldn't speak our minds. It's all about how we present it. And a lot of the times they know we'll get emotional about things and they like to press buttons. But once again, like I said, if the button's not there, or if they try to push the button and it don't work, they're left. Now you put the ball in their lane and they don't know how to dribble.
Right.
Like, my grandmother always said, arise from the emotional to the intellectual. Yeah. A lot of times when someone knows that they can push that button, it may be there. Absolutely. However, they know how they can push that button and chase you away and make you not want to support and you're going to mess up my dinner because I didn't have a mask on telling you to seat me and my friend at the Capitol Grill. No, you're going to seat us and you're going to seat us with a smile. You're going to serve us. You're going to make sure that everything we have at that table is what needs to be at that table. Woo! Because guess what? You don't have that
whiteness don't trump this Black chick.
Dorothy.
Let's just
you don't
get
have that
together.
power over me.
Let's get that together. You just like she said, you're serving me, so your whiteness don't trump
this is your job.
Chick. Okay.
I came to eat. Okay.
She said, "Don't come between me and my crab cakes." Well, I'm gonna switch gears.
My lemon dropped that day because I had a text. lemon drops. Okay.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. So if we continue to allow these people to upset us, that's exactly what they're going to keep doing and trying to make us feel like we're inferior. And that's why they want to make us think that we are beneath them, because we hide and we tuck and we don't demand and take back our respect. No, you're going to sit me down.
Yeah.
I ain't putting no mask on because I don't want to, and you ain't got one on. Okay?
I definitely think that the emotionless part is the key, because a lot of times I've seen situations where a person who was right was not taken seriously or written off because their emotion was louder than the actual infraction. And a lot of times, if you are able to keep your emotions under check or under control, then the only thing we can see is the infraction. And this is what happens a lot of times, I think, in relationships when people start arguing and screaming. The person who was wrong, we're not even focusing on them because you look a fool for cursing and screaming and hollering and having a whole temper tantrum as an adult. And so, you know, when you are able to get your point across calmly, it's going to be taken a lot more seriously. Well, here's the last topic that I want to talk about. I said today would just be an hour, but y'all, it was fun, so we just kept going.
And the survey says that was a lie.
That was a lie.
I knew that was a lie.
That was a lie.
I read that like, oh, she's ambitious tonight.
Maury said that was a lie.
It was your fault for having good comments, okay? So keep your good comments. I'm just kidding. So I want to talk about this. There's a show that I started watching when I was traveling this weekend, and it was, oh God, what is the name of that? It's A Promising Woman, I think. It's like, it was the most bizarre name to the show, but essentially, and this is a spoiler alert, so sorry, unwatch if you're planning on watching it on Netflix. But essentially the premise was about women who were taken advantage of while inebriated. And so I won't tell too much of the story in that, but I have a question about this.
Previews for that.
Yeah, the little blonde girl. So here's my question. What rule of thumb do you think that people should have? Because I saw a post afterwards, after I had already want to talk about the topic, and it reminded me of it because the post said, sloppy drunk sex is illegal, period. What's up, Tony? He's shouting out. Hello. So what do you guys think about that? Let's say, for example, there's a woman at a club and she's coming on to the man. She's like, hey, what's good? Blah, blah, blah. And she's initiating. Is there ever a time, is basically my question, where you think a woman can consent while also being intoxicated?
Does she not have friends, or are they just as drunk as she is?
Sometimes you don't have good friends, apparently, because the scenes in the movie, you know, we'll just leave it at that. But I will say this. There was a girl at a club, I almost said the name, but I don't give them bad press, but in the Hollywood Hills. And I remember it was a restaurant during the daytime, then after certain business hours, it became a nightclub. Yeah, and so I came to use the restroom and I had to pass by the dining area and it was all dark. And I saw a woman bent over backwards on a table, and the dude literally looked like he was giving it to her like missionary style on the table. But when I looked at her, she didn't look coherent. So I don't know if she came with him, or, you know, sometimes I think friends might go to the next location. I don't know how she ended up by herself, but I just remember thinking my whole spirit was disturbed. Like, she does not look coherent. And then another girl in the bathroom was like so intoxicated she couldn't figure out how to get out of the bathroom stall. And they were it was too low for them to crawl under, so the people were trying to explain to her how to slide the little thing over. But she was gone.
But I will say, to answer your question, if I am with someone and sloppy drunk, that's different than, first of all, I'm not sloppy drunk out with my girlfriend.
Okay.
No, I'm that friend, like, it's time for you to go. Like, I had 2 or 3 drinks myself, and I'm always the one watching everything. Like, we aren't going to be in a situation where you're going home with Bill Cosby at the end of the night. Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Not Bill.
Well, I love don't, Bill, and that's a whole nother episode.
No. I was joking.
I'm just saying, for instance, you are not going to go anywhere unless I know that your boyfriend or your husband sloppy drunk on my watch. Now, if I am with a man and that's who I'm dealing with, and we go out and very comfortable drinking around him, I don't have a problem with drunk sex.
Okay,
I probably I was also raised to say that you don't allow yourself to become impaired when you're with someone that you don't want to be impaired around. So I would not allow myself to get that way. Now, if somebody slips something in my drink, that's a whole different scenario. But if it's under my control and you're saying I'm drinking and partying and things like that, and I end up with a man, 9 times out of 10 that's someone that I'm comfortable being impaired around.
And so I will say this, when you answer the question, thank you, Jen. When you answer, I want to hear it from the man's responsibility and the woman's responsibility, because a lot of us have, almost majority of us have male children. Those of us who do have children have male children. And so this is a real situation that people should know about. And like I said, I was shocked to hear certain conversations about women saying no and things like that. So what do you guys think, the rest of you, about men? So let's say a scenario, you guys are out, you're dancing, you're club. You might have been vibing the whole night. You didn't show up together, but you're vibing the whole night. She's getting more and more intoxicated, but she's saying she wants to go home with you. What do you guys say, rule of thumb? Is there any guidelines?
I ain't taking her. I'm not going to take her home. I ain't dealing with it. I'm not going to deal with it. Yeah. I'm good. You can keep that. At the end of the day, she got a problem.
My brother says,
you showing me you sloppy drunk in the club, you talking all crazy, you got a problem, shorty. I don't even want to holler at you. Go ahead and
my brother said that. He's like, no, I don't want no drunk.
No, we good.
The second word is not.
No, I gathered. Yeah.
I wouldn't even entertain it.
Yeah, we didn't entertain it, man. Let it go.
But once again, there's just certain things, like you have to, as a man, there's certain things you have to realize as a Black person. There's certain things you have to realize, and as a woman, there's certain things you have to realize. So, like with my niece, when she went away to D. Howard University, as you guys like to say, I told her, I said, listen, I said, women are typically taught to go along with things and to feel bad if you don't go along. So I said, first of all, you're going to go to these parties. There's going to be alcohol there. People are going to try to get you to drink alcohol. Your friends, guys, this, that, yada, yada, yada. I said, do not drink, because once you start drinking, understand what can happen. And this happens quite often. So this isn't something that you can just fall into, because I'm giving you the information right now. And I'm telling you that people find themselves in very precarious situations that they really don't want to be in because they just went along with the flow. So, like, be mindful of that. Like, you just really have to, as a woman, you have to be mindful of it. We need to teach our boys to be a certain way, but at the end of the day, I can't control a boy outside of my control. I can control, the women that I know by sharing this information with them.
Yeah. It's funny you said that. I just heard a story of a woman. She was hanging out with a guy friend, supposedly. And she said she drank wine. She said, she came over. They've been friends for a while. She know they never did anything, whatever. But she stayed over there. She was drinking wine. She said, I got tipsy and I fell asleep on the couch. So this is where it got weird to me. So then she talking about she got up, got in the bed with this man because she wanted human interaction. She didn't want to do nothing with him, but she wanted to feel human interaction. So I'm like, what? And then she had the nerve to say that he tried her. I asked her, this is my first question to her though, Javelle. Listen, I asked her this question. I said, have y'all ever cuddled before? She said no. So I'm looking like, what the hell?
Right. We had that do the right thing. What's the name? Not do the right thing, but the school days.
Yeah, man. Like, come on. Like, that right there. She's like, you know what? That is kind of my fault on me. Yeah, that's on you. Like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's stuff I'm talking about. And that puts men and very like I mean, at the end of the day, anybody think that somebody that never got to bed with me also want to cuddle and push up on me, and then I'm like, okay, what's up? Because you ain't never got his bed. You know what I'm saying? And he wrong for that.
And then on the flip side, there have been situations like that where the woman felt slighted because she was trying. That was her way of giving him a sign, and he doesn't act on it.
Yes,
so it's a very slippery slope. And at the end of the day, I err on the side of safety. I'm always like, I've had people tell me like, you just didn't get the sign. I'm like, I don't work off the signs. The signs end you up in jail.
Just tell me what it is.
Look. That's like, Chavez, that's like a towing zone when you go to park somewhere. You got to read every single sign to make sure, because you're going to wind up with a whole penalty. Like in LA, same thing with DC. I'll stand there and read a sign like I'm about to take a state final, university final exam. I'm like, 7 to 7, Tuesday and Wednesday, like, you need to make it crystal clear that I can park here. It needs to be like that with guys.
Right. That's what I tell my son. My oldest son is 21. He's about to be 22 this month, and those are the conversations.
You out here looking like you're 24. But go ahead.
Thank you, baby.
It's wild.
But so I have those conversations with him all the time because he's out. He's on dating apps or what have you. And I'm like, you gotta be careful out here, because it's like you can't be thinking about signals and signs and all the stuff your homeboys are telling you is could probably potentially get you locked up.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you know what? Like, we teach our daughters that they have responsibilities of being young ladies and
responsibilities. Well, my father, I'm gonna tell you, the first time I ever got drunk, I was sitting next to my dad. I was like a teenager, and he was like, I want to see what happens when you drink. So the first drink I ever had in my life, I was with my dad at our counter, and we were drinking together, and he wanted to see, and we had all these rules about what I needed to do and how I needed to behave in public. And that thing that you said, Jen, is like absolutely true. I've never been alone somewhere just like completely drunk or sloshed out. If I'm by myself and I'm having a drink, I know, when to say when. I'm out. So it's like, but as as a female raised, like I was raised to be in groups of girls, to choose my friends carefully, because you don't want to be with somebody who's going to leave you by yourself or not protect you. Like my friend groups are solid. It's like, text me when you get home. We're walking to the car together. They're lingering behind because some guy is about to talk to them. No, we're leaving. We came together, we're leaving together. Everybody needs to be accounted for. Even if you're going someplace afterwards, I need you to text me when you get there. And I have had my friends like really tell me off. Like, you didn't text as soon as you got home. What, I was thinking this and this and that. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I felt it.
We share our locations now before when we go out. It's like, all right, everybody share your locations right now.
Yeah.
Like, me and my girlfriends, I'll send a number. Yeah. This is who I'm going with. So if I go missing, this is his phone number. This is his first and his last name.
I've taken pictures of tags.
Yep.
Pictures of guys. Like,
when I was growing up, my mom, like, I did everything with my mom the first time. Like, my mom's whole thing was she wanted for us to know how we should be, like, make sure, like, are we, like, the first time I smoked weed was with my mom. First time I had a drink was with my mother. So that I knew, like, okay, this isn't lace, this is weed, this, you know what I mean? But as far as, like, going out, I remember when I was going to college, my mom, there was, like, different things that my dad and my mom told me about. Like, if you leave your drink, don't drink that drink no more. If you drink unattended, you get a whole new drink. You watch them pour that drink. If a man is buying you a drink, you get it from the bartender. And even then, that's still suspect, because you don't know if that bartender know that dude. You know what I mean? And then I don't really like to accept drinks from dudes at clubs, because sometimes accepting that drink, he's a pest. He is stuck on your tail all night.
He bought your attention. That's what he's trying to do, buy that attention.
He wants his return on investment.
Right.
Hey,
No,
Henny ain't cheap.
$7
What is
you
that? What?
want, not for $7. You're not
1892.
about to follow me around here for $7. You can have
yeah,
it.
no, you're not. I'm not the one. I will drink the drink.
Because now we're gonna have a problem.
I'm gonna send you the money. But there's just certain things. I've never been drunk out in public. Now I've been slushed in the comforts of my home.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
With my girlfriends, having girls' night. You know what I mean? And we all stayed, one slept on my couch, one slept in the guest room. We were all there, we never left. But I've never been out in public. And when I get drunk, I go to sleep. I don't get touchy-feely. I don't get emotional. I don't want to fight. I want to go to bed. I just want to go to sleep. I don't want to be bothered. I just want to go to sleep. But as far as like, especially in this day and age, like that with that girl, Kanika Jenkins.
That was sad.
You have friends that is allowing you to drink and not watching you. Even going to the bathroom. I remember when I would go to the club, one of my girlfriends, we all going to the bathroom. It's not just one of us. We're all going to the bathroom. We all leaving. And it's just a matter of holding your friends accountable. And, we all got that one friend. She get drunk. She get a little loose.
Hey, the truth be coming out of it. She like, yo.
Well, my dad always said a drunk tongue.
We got a police to babysit.
Right.
Sometimes some people get a little loose when they drunk. Now we all have that friend, but if you know who that friend is, you just gotta make sure you watch her a little carefully, or don't take her somewhere where they pouring drinks like that.
I used to babysit when I was a teenager, and I just don't want to do it in my 40s. I'm not part of the babysitters club.
I'm the friend that when the friends are getting drunk, I'm like, all right, y'all, I'm about to head out. This is.
Yeah, because it's not fun. I have a question for the guys. Guys, if you were going to go on a first date, let's just say you met someone online or something, it wasn't like a friend, it was someone you knew. Would you be offended if the woman took a picture of your license plate?
No.
Okay.
I get it. I would tell my child to do the same thing.
He wouldn't even know.
Actually,
Right.
Wouldn't even know.
I let them see me doing it because I need you to have a level of understanding that if this thing here go left, it's supposed that's gonna be looking for you.
What were you saying, Chavez?
And unfortunately, that's the big thing. Like, we just really not teaching. We're not teaching girls. I've seen this so much. Girls go into situations so oblivious to how fast it can go down, like just down a rabbit hole. And it's like, as parents, as uncles, as cousins, these girls should be. First of all, we need to check the boys, but the boys. Once again, I have no control. I can check my boys, but what I can do is provide a girl with the information. And a lot of times, man, it's girls be out here not knowing. Somebody keep handing drinks, like keep telling them to drink. It's like as a girl, you don't feel like your body or your word is your own. So it's like somebody else can literally come in and tell you what to do and direct you in the direction that they want you to go.
Yes. I literally just told my daughter this because we were staying with my grandmother because I was taking care of her, but she was coming into the apartment and my daughter's 19 and some man tells her she looks sexy and she's like, Mom, there's this weird guy that just told me I look sexy. And I said, well, what did you say? And she's like, it was weird, but I just said thanks. I said, next time, try telling him you don't get to speak to me that way. Yeah. You don't talk to me that way. You demand your respect. You look him in your eye. You do not become a victim. I remember one time I was on an elevator at the hospital, the most frightening experience I've had in my life. And this guy, every time I would circle the parking garage, he was running up the steps. So each level I got on, he was at that level by the time I circled around, and he made it all the way to the top. So I'm like, okay, forget it, because I had to go see about my grandfather. We were meeting with the social workers or whatever so he could get discharged. And I get on the elevator. Now, I think I went down a level. I didn't get on at the top level where we met. I went back down and I'm out the car and I actually beat him to the elevator. But as I was getting on, he hops over. So, of course, I'm frightened because I'm like, this guy is going to try to rape me. But I stared that man down in his eyes. I looked at him and I said, hey, how's your day going today?
You
Getting exercise, I've noticed. And he's like, no, just I can't remember what he said. And I said, or you're following me. And I have a problem with that. And I reached in my purse. And he backed up over to. I didn't have a gun, but I acted like I
didn't know that though.
And we got off that elevator, and I said, "You have a good day."
Your energy is really powerful.
Our girls, we cannot be victims to our circumstances.
Yeah.
We have to.
And let's normalize women having guns and knives or whatever you're comfortable with, even if it's just pepper spray. Like you need something.
I had a box cutter. That's what I had a switchblade. My grandfather, when I turned 16 and started driving, he gave me a switchblade, and he shortly took it back for reasons I won't say on this Zoom call. But
did I tell you about carrying pepper spray?
I feel like you actually might have.
So I'm an advocate. Like, yo, listen, check this out. I keep pepper spray. Listen,
I wish my keys were by me. I would show you mine too.
I've taken martial arts. I'm 47 years old, and I got to a point where I said, no longer do I need to allow my ego. Like, I don't have to get into an altercation with a person.
It is.
If I don't want to
spray you a good time and walk away.
Right now with COVID and bloodborne pathogens.
Absolutely. You don't want to hit people with
Three quick pumps.
That's what he said.
Pepper spray some dogs this morning. My sister was laughing at me because I was walking around my neighborhood this morning, and the lady had let her dogs out, and they was like running up on me. And I was, telling the dogs to get back. They were like pugs or whatever. And she starts laughing, and she's telling them to come. And I was like, this would not be funny if I had a pepper spray your dog. I was like, you wouldn't be laughing with this vet bill. I was like, I have pepper spray in my hand. I was about to pepper spray both of them. I'm not about to get bit by these dogs.
I like what Jen was saying about the energy, because it's unfortunate that by the time a lot of women reach that maturation process, you've gone through some of your most vulnerable time. And with men and women, because it's not even about gender, it takes us a while to realize our self-worth. And part of our self-worth is saying, if I'm uncomfortable, it's okay to speak up. And I think we are raised because of society pressure. In a healthy way, we are supposed to worry about the community and not cause a stink and go with the flow. In the general speaking of things, you don't bombard and cut in front of lines and things like that. But it takes a lot of self-love and self-awareness and maturity to realize when it's okay to kind of cross that line. And I think especially if it's a situation, like I think if anyone was being actually attacked and the guy's like this and he's, posing a visible threat, you would feel more comfortable saying something. But I like the fact that you went with your intuition, because at the end of the day,
you don't get a chance to overcome my space. You just don't.
Yeah, it's like, but let's just say worst case scenario, and you totally read it wrong. The worst thing that happened is that he might have felt, what is it called? Profiled. Like he might have felt like judged or stereotyped. That's the worst that can happen. But he's gonna go on and live his best life. But if you were to judge wrong, the worst that could have happened is that you could have been in harm's way and maybe lost your life. So I think it's important, because I do have younger people who watch this channel, to know that don't be afraid of making things awkward. And we talked about date rape in previous conversations. This is heavy stuff, but I think it's necessary. Don't be more worried about the vibe being weird and what kind of an awkward conversation are we going to have after. I wish I had learned that earlier. Like, screw the vibe. We can have a whole conversation.
It's even bigger than the vibe. It's bigger than the vibe. Don't allow yourself to feel like you can't make someone else feel uncomfortable if there's even the potential of some shit kicking off. Like too many times, and once again, it's unfortunate because we don't put our girls and our boys in situations where they learn this growing up. But too many times, human predators are not like predators in The Wire. human predators are opportunists. Most
Right.
of them are cowards.
Yeah.
Most of them
They
most
prey
of
on
them
weak
know,
individuals,
Right.
weak-minded individuals.
most of them know
Not
that
necessarily
most of them know
weak-minded.
that women, most
They'll
of them
just
know
try to
that
get
women
your
are taught. Most of them know that women have been taught to go with
the
the
flow.
flow.
Yeah.
Most
Right.
of them know that women are not going to be quote unquote the D word. Most of them know this, and I've worked in that environment. I used to work law enforcement, and at the end of the day, if more girls and women knew, like Jen said, the fact that you look a person in the eye,
Right.
and they see that you're not scared
Right.
of them.
You're not with the
A
ish.
lot of times,
I was frightened. I'm not gonna lie. I was
Yeah,
scared.
but you overcame your fear in
Yes.
that moment. It was
No,
fight or
he-
flight.
he
It was
was
fight or
great.
flight. Like I
Yes.
can't run up out of this elevator. So if you know, if you come for me, it's not gonna be an easy win. You're not just gonna overtake me and do whatever you want to do with me.
Right.
And that's what
Like,
Chavez.
be an example.
That's what Chavez is saying, that they're so cowardly that they want the least what do you call it? The least
amount of
pushback.
resistance.
Yeah,
Amount
so
of resistance.
If
Yeah.
you seem like you
but you know
got
what?
any problems,
To say that, even in the wild, I mean, the line they always go after the weak animal. That's just how it is. Nobody wants to fight. Somebody's gonna fight back. That's kind of dumb.
what they perceive to be the weakest. And to Monica's point, we're not saying that if you're a victim, you are a weak person.
Yes.
It's
No,
the
not at all.
perception that you're weak.
Perception, yeah. Perception.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there was a scene from that movie that I
That's
mentioned
what I was
before.
telling you, Monica,
where-
with homeboy threatening me on that post. And I kept asking him, I said, are you threatening me? Because if you're threatening me, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah. That
somebody
scene.
threatened somebody in the post?
Threaten me on a post behind a computer in the elevator.
But it's
I'm
not,
gonna
it's
do
not
it.
just, but see, that's the thing though. It's not just stuff that is directly in your face. Like I was saying, it's not necessarily meaning that you're physically weaker or anything like that. You can literally be caught off guard and be vulnerable.
Yeah,
there you go.
Like a lot of girls that are getting sex trafficked and abducted, they're literally putting gas in their car.
Yes.
They're using it all the
You're right.
time, on the news all the time. Every time I go, my dad calls me highway heavy. That's just what my dad, but I get it just from him because he's just like, he can't sit still. But he always tells me I need to be careful because out here, women are literally putting gas. Something that you normally do, put gas, put groceries in the car.
Here in Ohio, they're hitting women's cars for them to pull over now.
Over and putting your stuff in the car. So it's not about necessarily being weak. It's just you just get caught off guard. And so it's like you gotta constantly, especially being a woman of color, you gotta constantly always have your head on the swivel.
Listen. They sit, and I had a homegirl who went to the University of Hull in the UK, and her major, she actually has a PhD, and it's really about like human trafficking and sex trafficking. These people will park in parking lots of like big, Target and supermarkets and stuff. They'll park in a van. So when you see a van,
Yeah.
don't park next to a van.
Not the one that slides the door.
I don't know if y'all had names for it. Like, that Mormon van, that big white van, we used to call that the rape van.
We call rape vans too.
rape
Yep.
van,
We call it the rapist
To
van.
this day, I will never park
But
next to
the
a
ice
rape
cream
van.
truck van, like the ice cream truck van,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we call that the rapist van.
With no windows.
With the no windows.
is blacked out.
Yep.
Yeah, like you're not.
And it's always a weird person driving the car.
Yeah.
It's so true, but I think that we have to be aware of our energy. We have to deal with stuff dead on because a lot of times those people are passive aggressive and things like that. And to go back to that movie I mentioned, there was a scene where she got catcalled by a couple construction workers. Very cliche scene, but they catcalled her and she went. So she's just walking, and when they said it, so she was like this. She said like this, and looked them dead in the face and didn't smile. And they started feeling awkward. They were like, okay, all right. And then, but they got it. And she didn't say a word. And then it went to like, okay, you're a psychopath. And then like, they started getting angry because then her behavior was so out of the norm. You're used to women smiling or being awkward and putting their head down. Because she didn't stop locking eyes, they were scared. They were like, what kind is she off her meds? But I'd rather you think I'm crazy and I'm a crazy F you up then you could just, roll up on me or talk any kind of
But
way.
then y'all have to be careful too, because then you have that 1% of dudes that's just an animal.
They're gonna try to kill you because you
You
are
got that-
rejecting them in a moment.
You got that percentage of dudes who are just going to be that animal, and I always talk to sisters where it's like always having to juggle their interactions with men, always having to assess the situation, looking at him. Does he look like he's off? You know what it be? Yo, Yonci. I'm not even gonna say her name, but you know the tasting that we went to.
Mm.
The tasting that we went to. So she was in the, I think she was in the A. She said this is the scariest situation that she had been in. Guy came up, said that, they walked into the elevator at this apartment complex. The guy was like, hey, like he was just shooting a live video, and he's like, I want to be you guys' security. So she's like, well, I mean, you shooting a live video, like we just trying to go to the apartment. Walks into the elevator, gets to the elevator, asks for a number, says, yo, you fine, can I get your number? She was like, I got a boyfriend. He was like, well, I'm not closing these doors to the elevator until you give me your number.
Oh, dang.
His whole entire face, the whole entire face more. You know what I'm saying? And like in that moment, she was looking, she said, yo, like, she was like, that's jacked up, because I literally didn't know if he had a gun on him. Like, if I said no again, he had a look where I didn't know where he was going to go with this. Like, if I said no, was he going to pull out a gun and shoot me? Was he going to start beating me up? Like, so she said she just gave the number.
Wow.
And then,
wait, and this is the one who was preparing the food?
Yes.
That's scary, because she seems like she got a whole lot of street smart. Like, she's not a timid little...
Oh no, she definitely does have street smart, yeah.
But that can also be tied to the point where guys, when we get approached and guys are like, why are you so aggressive? Why are you so standoffish? Because we constantly have to why are you here? You know what I mean? And it's like constantly trying to figure out exactly, you know what I mean? Are you here to try to snatch me up, or are you here trying to take me off the market?
That's why I don't
you trying
like
to take me out or take me off the market.
That's why I like.
And it's like, just do
That's why I don't like when you
tell
tell me to smile. Like, don't tell me to smile. This mug is keeping all the crazies away. Okay, like no, they're not running up on me all kind of way. Because
I had a guy come to me and say, you look
intense.
unapproachable, and I said, yet you are here.
Man, he didn't give him no play.
That is my line.
Yeah,
Like, you don't look like you want to be bothered. Oh, but here we are.
So
I told a guy one day, he came and approached me, and I said, and what do you want me to do with this information?
Oh my God. She hit him with the slow and
Man, y'all tough out here.
They super tough.
But you know what?
Tough on these streets.
Very tough.
Right, but I'm sorry, but some men are entitled. They feel entitled to you. Like, I can be in your space. I can be around you. I can touch you. Like, I'm very
that pisses me off.
of my surroundings, and I don't like to be. If it's somebody that I've never met before, I don't like you touching me because it escalates from there. So if I'm at the bar and I'm having a drink by myself, please don't just invade my space and begin to touch me and do things like that, because I've seen situations like that, and I've been in situations where men escalate because you don't say anything. Like, I don't know you, but that's how men make people, the people around you, feel comfortable around you. So women, if you don't say anything and this man invades your space and he's touching you and you're not warranting any of that, then the people looking think that you know this man because you didn't say nothing to him. And I've seen men walk women up out of places and hurt them because of that very
but like Shabazz was saying, like there was an instance I was having dinner on a patio with a few friends, and these guys, you could tell they were off. And there was this particular guy asked me my name, and my name is always Tiffany, and so I'm talking, and he's saying Tiffany. Now I'm not answering because I gave you this name. That doesn't necessarily resonate that you're gonna use it, right? So he's like, "Yo, did you give me the right name?" And I'm like,
"Listen, he called you.
I'm giving a guy the wrong number, and he literally called me standing right there.
I hate it when they do that. It's like if you
trying to talk to me, to him calling me out of my name. And I'm like, you know, I am not a victim at all, but I knew to back down. Now I'm texting my cousins that live down the street, because what you're not gonna do is flip no table over on me and intimidate me. Now you're about to have some problems with some real me.
There was a dude named Gavin
Three quick
DeBecker.
squirts.
There's a guy named Gavin.
But adrenaline is up. That doesn't always work.
That's true. I can attest to that
It's gonna give you
firsthand.
enough time to run.
You can eat through
It's
some
definitely
pepper
gonna give you
spray.
enough time to run.
But you
It may
have to
not
do
put
is,
them on the ground, but you're gonna get at least 60.
listen,
I couldn't even unlock
listen.
my phone when I had an
Listen.
adrenaline going through me. I could not
Listen.
hit the 4 buttons. I was like,
Here's what you have to get. First of all, there's a guy by the name of Gavin DeBecker, and he put out a book called The Gift of Fear, right? And he was on Oprah's show, and this was years ago. And it really started making me ask, like, my family members. I started with, like, my cousins and my sister and stuff, and they started talking to, like, my female friends. But he said something that really, I couldn't believe it when he said it, but he said most guys' biggest fear is that a woman will laugh at them or, like, turn them down and make them feel...
belittle them. Yeah.
He said, but most women's biggest fear is the guy will kill them. And the simple fact that
I've read that before.
That the chasm is that big, where you're talking about your feelings being hurt versus somebody feeling like death is like imminent or lurking around the corner. Like more women have to start sharing this information with the men in their family, the brothers and the cousins and like all that stuff. Pepper spray wise, I'm going to tell you this. There's a brand called Sabre. It's called Sabre pepper spray. It's probably the closest to police grade pepper spray. Like yeah.
That's the one I got.
We used to have to get, you know, when I was law enforcement, we used to have to certify with pepper spray. Like you had to get pepper sprayed. Listen, let me tell you something. I've seen people get shot, and the adrenaline rushes. They keep going and they keep going because they didn't feel it. I've never seen anyone get pepper sprayed, because what happens with pepper spray is, I don't care how your adrenaline is rushing, your eyes burn so much that when you open them up to oxygen, they burn even more. You have to close your eyes. Just to even take them, even though it's still painful, it takes it down a little bit. So, you know, I'm an advocate of pepper spray over a gun, because you can carry pepper spray in your hand while you're walking down the street.
Right.
Most guns are in your purse. Most of the time, you don't even have the opportunity to go in your purse. So for a guy to go into his, like, I keep pepper spray on my person, especially if I'm out, like during the daytime. I keep it in if I'm out my sweatshirt, it's in my sweatshirt pocket. But if I'm out at night and I'm with somebody else, I'm not worried about it, because I know how to use people as kind of like bait. If something kicks off, I can use somebody as bait, get them out the way and deal with the situation. But if I'm by myself, raccoons and possums and people, man, I ain't trying to mess with
Not raccoons, possums, and people.
Tigers and bears.
Oh my! No, I think it's.
Chavez said he's not getting sex trafficked, child. He's not getting Chavez, and then not throwing his little self in the back of a van and sex trafficked.
Yeah, and I'm not spraying you and run. I'm spraying you and I'm out the side.
You're not getting to Fraser Delight tonight.
I got time.
We gonna see his bike, and
It's about to be a bad day.
And you gonna see the bike. There you go.
There you go, Chavez. I am too through.
Not the Eddie Bauer bike.
You guys, I gotta tell you a story where you're talking about, you know, taking pictures of the license plate. Because I've had a guy before, and I was the same way, Shantae. Like, I'm gonna let it be known that I'm taking the photo, and he got so offended. And this is what I think guys need to just hear. Put your little ego aside, because what guys always say, and women do the same thing when guys tell their horror stories. The first thing we do is, I would never, or, oh my God, they discredit it because they say, oh, my friends would never, or I've never heard my friends do that. Okay, but that doesn't discount the fact this is this person's continuous experience. Well, anyway, There was a guy that I knew, and, you know, I felt kind of comfortable with him because we knew each other through Facebook, and we had talked quite a bit, but at the same time, it was my first time going to be somewhere. We were going to meet at his place just to drive together to dinner, because I don't kick it at his house, at the person's house. But I felt a little apprehensive about meeting, because I had never done that where I met someone at their place. But like I said, it had been years through Facebook interaction, so I kind of felt a little sense of comfort. But at the same time, I still used my wisdom, and I was texting my friend the address, so I could let her know I was here and here's the address. So I said the girlfriend information, and realized I sent it to him by accident because I went to his text.
I remember that.
Yes, I went to his text to hit copy because he had texted me his address, and I was like, I'll just copy and hit paste. And I got caught up when I was doing, and I put it in his. It was so embarrassing. I had to just laugh about it, but he was so offended, and he was like, "But we know each other. We've talked all this time," and I'm like,
"Not that good, boo."
You know how many people. And you know what's so crazy? This is the plot twist. I had an incident with him. This is the ironic thing. And I think it was my intuition of having that spirit of knowing. And what's so crazy is these people will try to make you feel a way. They will try to minimize the situation.
I was just about to say
They'll try to make you feel like you're doing too much. And they are the king of, but you did this. Look, I don't care if I have nibbled on your neck and sucked on your toes, which is not my testimony. Ew. But
I don't know. That's going a little bit far, though, y'all. Y'all don't know now. You might have.
That's crossing the line. Nibbling on
You went there, yeah.
Okay, but I have never in life and never planned in life to nibble on a toe. But I'm saying a nibble on suck on a toe. But if I had, a woman should have the right to say no. Yeah, well, I gagged a little when I said that. But I'm just saying a woman has the right to say no because let's just say that she was planning on having sex, right? She could have planned on having sex, whatever. Maybe he said something that annoyed her or whatever. There is no point that a woman should not be able to say no. But my point was to say that a guy should never be able to use words to justify him going past the point that you're comfortable with. It's just like a date. Like, I agreed maybe go on the date, but maybe halfway through dinner, you know, you pissed me off or you did something so inappropriate that I was like, I don't want to be. You should not have to do anything that you don't want to do. So I'm just saying that to the younger viewers who are watching.
And that's manipulation too.
It is total manipulation.
When he was trying to be offended, some fake offense, and I'm not a bad person, blah, blah. That is a red flag to me. Like, if they're really going out of their way to be like, I would never, blah, 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 blah. Listen, it always goes left. So I feel like if we listen to, when you talk about these young women out here, listen to your intuition. Listen to that inner voice that is telling you no, or don't do this, or don't go this far, or don't go with this person. And I don't care who it is, man, woman, boy or child, whatever it is. If your inside voice is telling you don't do it, please do not do that thing. I tell my sons that all the time. You are literally set up to protect yourself at all times. And every time that I have pushed past my inner voice telling me no, something bad always happens.
Always.
It never fails. Something is going to go left. So
and it's knowing your surroundings too.
Like
my daughter always laughs at me, but sometimes I can, like, I live in Cleveland, and you know there's some crazy stuff that goes on in these neighborhoods around here, and if I feel like someone has followed me, I'll circle the block. Like, I'll go ridiculous routes and out of my way to be certain that you're following me. And if you are, in fact, looking like you're following me, you will be led to a police station. I will literally
find
the nearest police station and pull up in there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and she laughs at me, and I'm like, as a young lady,
you got to teach her.
You have to know what your surroundings are. You have to know to look in the back seat before you get in a car. You have to know to look under your car. You have to know what you, without being obvious, looking in the cars next to you, and
don't dig in your purse at the door. Have your key before you even leave the building. Don't dig right in your... You have to know what your surroundings are. And if somebody looks like they're following you, they probably are. Yeah. And they said, too, if you feel like someone's following you, cross the street. Because then if they then cross it, then you'll know. Like, if you're walking to cross
you should really stop.
Hold on. There's two things. There's two things. You'll feel a person walking up fast on you. Most people will feel a certain way and continue to just walk and hope that this is not what I think it is. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's so easy for you to cross the street, get some distance, cross the street and stop and see what they do.
You're right.
Like, you literally cross the street.
Because you catch them off guard. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Listen.
I've had that happen to me before. It was a guy in the Walmart. He was like standing at the door and he was following people. And I saw him doing that, like when I pulled in, and I had my child with me. Mason was a baby at the time. And I was coming out of the Walmart. The guy was standing at the door. And when I was pushing the cart to my car, he started following behind me like he had done some other women. And I had my keys in my hand and I stopped. Like I kept going slow and I came to a stop. And he walked past me. And I stayed there until he kept walking. Because I was still at the front of the store. So he couldn't just stop with me and his car's right there and people are moving. So I stopped. I have a baby in my cart. I'm looking through my purse. Like I didn't have my head down, but I'm like messing with my purse and my head is up. So he has to keep walking past me. And by the time he got to the end of the lot, I had never thrown groceries in my child in my car so quickly.
That baby had no car seat that day, no seat belt.
Right. I don't know if it was buckled or not, but we were getting there.
She just holding him like this while he's driving.
Put him in a grocery bag.
Put him on your lap. Pull out of the...
I was on 2 wheels burning out that parking lot. I was like, if you run back if you want to, you might get it over.
Shorty upside down.
Right, he upside down the strap. Y'all, I was driving to work one day to go pick up my check. This is back before direct deposit and all that stuff, right? My little first job. So I'm driving to the mall and I make the mistake of doing this. You know, I'm real friendly. So this guy waves at me and I'm like, hi, waving back, thinking I'm just about to keep going my little way. And so I'm looking and he's still next to me. I'm looking, he's still next to me. And we're going a little distance. And I'm like, okay, doggone, like you still next to me at this point. So now I'm pulling into the mall parking lot and you still next to me. So it freaked me out. So he ends up pulling up and he pulls up into the spot right directly across from me. You know, like our bumpers, our front ends would touch, like, cause he came around and pulled in that way. So it was so scary that he did that. So I went inside the mall, went and got my check, but I was like, can I have security walk me out? They sent me a little Becky that was like 4'11". I was so embarrassed. Like, what's she gonna do? And so I have.
She had that heater on.
She was a pocket-sized mall security, so I doubt she had anything but a baton. But we came outside and he was sitting on the hood of the car, and then I was like, that's him. And she was like, can I help you? He was like, I was looking for a payphone. You looking for a payphone sitting on top of your car? So he try to switch up the conversation, but she just kind of looked at it to make him a little bit uncomfortable. He walked off.
You lying.
It terrified me.
There's certain things that I was taught not to do at night. Like I won't go grocery shopping at night. I won't get gas at night. I won't go to the bank at night.
Nope.
I just don't do stuff like that at night.
Now my daughter.
And this was a daytime.
It's off of work.
No,
at
I'm
night,
just saying.
So. Yeah, but I'm saying he was that bold in broad daylight.
Some things you can't avoid at night.
If you can avoid, the thing is, the biggest thing is to hedge your bet by avoiding certain things that you can. If you can't avoid it, but it's like if you're on a quarter tank, don't go get gas tonight. Get that shit tomorrow morning or during the day. Like just kind of stay away from the nighttime because that is when shit pops off. Not saying the shit pops off. Not saying things don't pop off in the day. But the nighttime is easier to do stuff under the cover of darkness. And as y'all see right here on the East Coast, y'all the East Coast people, like, look at this. It's still light and bright out here.
Where are you?
And downtown LA.
Yeah, when you said it's like you are in East Coast.
Well, it's only 7 o'clock there, Shabazz.
Yeah,
it's almost 11 o'clock here.
You silly.
It's not dark right now.
I think this is good. This is good stuff. I want to ask you guys.
One more thing. Do not sit when you're leaving from a mall. If you're in the parking lot, do not sit in your vehicle doing things. Get in your car, lock your door, put your key in, and pull off. And if you want to check your phone and do something, do that somewhere else because you don't know if someone has been watching you. You don't know if somebody watched you park, watched you get out the vehicle. Like, oh shit.
And that's what I tell my daughter. I tell her always park somewhere different. Because people learn patterns.
Yeah.
She almost got abducted outside of our house once, taking our dog out before we moved in for me to care for my grandmother. And every day she would take our teacup poodle, who is not defending anybody, out, and she saw a man creeping from behind a bush at her.
Oh my God.
And she drugged the dog in the house, and before she could calm down, now I'm getting dressed, before she could calm down and tell me what was going on, he had run off. Now I've run out of the house probably, I don't even know what level of clothing I've had on, but I hopped in my car to try to see which way he was running while I was calling the police. And we never found him. But I always tell her, I always use that as an example. You know, when people learn your patterns, they absolutely, you become their target. Because someone like me who's random, right? Like I'm literally, I could be running on time one day and 30 minutes late the next day. Like you are not gonna know what time I'm leaving the house any given day of the week. But some people leave the house at the same time every day and do the same thing every day.
Yeah, people
and park in the same spot and check the doorknob 3 times before they go into work. Not me. I might leave my door open. I might leave. So I might be less of the target because I'm too random. You know, anything might be liable to happen. And that's what I told her. I said, you work at a mall. And there's other people that work at malls. And that's like where a lot of predators go to collect their victims. And I said, if you are a creature of habit, they know what to look for because they work there, and she has a distinctive car, you know. So I'm like, at least you can park in different spots and make sure you're always in a well-lit area. And sometimes parking in the back of the parking lot is better than parking around 50 cars, you know, because
it's obvious someone's coming.
It's way away from everything else. It's obvious that someone is
always aware in parking lots, parking garages, like, you know, in streets and stuff like that, even in the daytime, because I feel like that is just such an opportune time where people jump out of little crevices in tight spaces at you. So I'm always very leery of places like that. And I'm like, you know, I have my keys in my hand, I'm unlocking the car, just like Chavez said. I used to do that. I used to sit in the parking lot on my phone, checking my phone, responding to texts and emails and things like that. And I remember I was on the phone with my brother, and he was like, "Didn't you just say that you came?" You know, like I'm pausing, and he doesn't hear my car moving or anything like that. And he was like, "Didn't you just say that you came out of the store and it's dark or whatever?" And he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I was just checking the." Get your ass out of that parking lot. He was like, "Get your ass that parking lot. What do you know, why aren't you moving? Like, why hasn't this thing connected to the car yet? Like, what's the holdup?" So, you know, you need those reminders because you can absentmindedly do some things that can cause you danger. So,
it's true. Yeah. It's a good reminder because I do sit in my car a lot. I'll get in my, I will always lock the door, but it is a good reminder. And if you guys are watching and you have a reminder or a tip or a tool that we haven't mentioned, drop it, because it's always good to just keep it in your mind as men and women, you know, keep it in your mind so you don't get mugged or snatched up or, you know, if somebody's trunking your car. You guys have been awesome. I'm going to go ahead and wrap here. I know I said I would do an hour. I said I'm not going to do 3 hours. I'm trying to get better, okay? Trying to get better over here. But I appreciate you guys. I felt like this was a little bit reminiscent of like the old times. It was nice having Chavez on here. Kenneth, we haven't seen you since I think the Friday night chat days. So yes. So it was
my sweater, Monica. She always teases me because I'm cold all the time.
I got a sweater on too. I got my melanin sweaters. Well, thank you guys so much. I am down to 150 watch hours left. So everybody who is watching this, know that you are part of history. I hope that by my next live stream, I will have hit my goal and I could just focus on making good content and not be worried about making the YouTube partner program.
You got it.
But I appreciate all of your encouragement and everything that you guys do. So I'm going to do my formal close off. If you guys could mute yourselves. I'm going to go ahead and sign up. Akira said she was at work in the structure, just sitting in her truck, and a male coworker of mine ran up on me. I think jerked my car open and grabbed me. He did that to teach her a lesson, and it was a lesson, all right. Woo! Well taught. I got scared reading. I was like, my God, that'll make you forget and remember, never forget. PSA: wear your bonnets to bed tonight. In bed.
Nice.
I'm like G.I. Jane, Jen. Never let them know your patterns. I cannot. All right, let me go ahead and close out here, you guys. If you guys have a product or service, feel free to send me an email. You can always reach me at contactyonci@gmail.com. If you'd like to advertise on your show, YouTube is the way to go because videos are evergreen and they are forever here. So they can be watched over and over again, unlike TV or radio. If you have not if you have not subscribed already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can check out all the content when it drops. And if you have not hit the like button on this video yet, why not? Please go ahead and show it some love. Until next time, you guys, tell someone that